And we can see in the world today there's a spirit of Antichrist going against Christ, against the church. It finally achieves its form, its incarnation, like it were, and it's one man who will come at the end and do many of the very same things that Christ did. It will be some kind of demonic marvel.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Reversion. I'm Anthony Westgate. It's great to be here. It's been a bit of another unintended hiatus, but nevertheless, here we are. I've been doing some writing and some things behind the scenes. I was just featured on Church of the Eternal Logos yesterday. Had a great time chatting with Dr. David Patrick Harry, great friend of mine. It's always a treat to get to talk to him. And if you wanted to go check that out, it's over on his channel, the latest stream. We got into dead internet theory, how it's not even a theory anymore because the entire internet is getting consumed by bots. There's been all this research and data that has come out in the past year about this that confirm that basically humans are a minority on the internet now. According to web traffic and content created and all this stuff. So it's just, kind of verifying what we already know. But it was an interesting conversation. We got, it took all different turns that you might want to tune into that and check it out. But we're going to be getting into some Q&A tonight and just open discussion. I didn't really have a deep dive. I have one planned. The next one, I kind of teased it last week. The next one's going to be on the occult Renaissance Church of Rome, Michael Hoffman's book, which intersects with a lot of the other books that I have on the subject. Francis Yates. There's a number of other resources that I have that I use in my research that will take a bit more time for me, I think, to compile some type of presentation. It's just such a deep topic that it's likely not going to be all covered in one stream, but I'm going to do my best. We'll just see kind of where we end up with it, but that may be later this week. That's the plan. But anyway, I figured tonight I had a lot of questions that I gathered in the past few months. Not a lot, but a good handful, I guess. That I got on Substack, on X, I think a couple emails and things like that. So I did confirm with these people that it was okay to read their messages. I'll keep them anonymous, obviously, but I thought I'd share some of that here because I think that these questions are pretty interesting and they intersect with some of the topics we talk about here. So yeah, you can see that the title of the stream is about, will America be Orthodox, or sorry, will America be holy before the collapse? So we kind of know the answer to this, and I'm sure we're going to get into this here because I think it pertains to one of the questions. But actually, before we get into this, let me just catch you guys up on some of the stuff that's been going on over on the Substack. I published a new article today. So it's about the talk I had with DPH yesterday. It kind of inspired me to finish this draft that I had been working on for a good month. And so you can go over to the Reversion and check that out. I'll post it in chat. And, this is about, I've talked about this before, at least this part here where I have kind of mentioned this forum that I built. And so this is just addressing the problem that I talked about with DPH about dead internet theory. I got to stop calling it dead internet theory because it's actually just the internet is factually dying. And so, yeah, you might want to read this. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. This is one of my better pieces of writing, I think, as of late, although I haven't been publishing too much lately. But yeah, you guys can go check this out. It's free. I didn't pay cuck it. So what else we got? Yeah, and then the permanent forum, of course, getting a little bit of activity since I put the link up in there. Always a good resource. I'm trying to build a good resource here, but it's hard. It's hard to get people to change their internet behavior, to go from the algorithmic feed, the quick dopamine hits that you get from tweeting, from what is it, exceeding, right? What do they call it? From Twitter posts, from the likes and all that, and Instagram, whatever, to actually going to like an old school web forum that's really not that active, and just taking some time out of your day to craft a meaningful post or a quick reply. It's like, it's just a totally different way of internet communications that is pretty much lost these days. I know that, forums are a little more common with like tech. If you're like doing projects, like if you're a developer or something like that, I guess if you're a Redditor, that's a type of forum. But yeah, I'm sure I don't have to explain forums to you guys, but this is kind of, this is what they took from us. Anyway, what else we got? Oh yeah, and here's the live stream from yesterday. So yeah, good 3-hour discussion. So yeah, you guys can go check that out as well. Make sure you subscribe to Church of the Eternal Logos. Shout out to DPH. Yeah, and so I guess with that said, is there anything else here? Yeah, I got some links pulled up for the questions, but let's see, what do I got? And I'm going to open up the Discord in a little bit here after I get through some of these. So, okay, the first one's from Ortho Zoomer. Shout out to Ortho Zoomer. He says, "Hey, Anthony, apologize for the random DM, and I understand if you don't respond or don't want to interact, that's fine." Well, I'm interacting. And it says, "I was just curious about how you research all this occult stuff safely, along with getting your opinion on some Christians trying to either reclaim or Christianize certain symbolisms. An example being the black and white and red suns in alchemy, going as far as to interpret the quote unquote great work in a theosis-based context." So this is a pretty interesting question. I guess I'll address the first part. How do you research the occult safely? Now, I suppose I should have been a little more prepared for this because there is an article that, let me see if I might have a snippet of this somewhere now. I don't, but yeah, basically, I don't need to show the article. I'm just going to answer it very carefully and very. This is a tough thing to do. What I do is not something I would suggest the average person do. It's kind of daunting. It takes a toll on me, and it's something that I have to balance out with, intellectually and spiritually. And so I do that by trying to read as much spiritual works as I am, at least on par with the amount of reading and research I'm doing on occult related subjects. It doesn't always work out that way. It's just what I try to do. So I think that's number one, is that if you're going to research this stuff, you need to increase the amount of reading and research you're doing on, I wouldn't even say research, I would just say reading and, prayerfulness, as it pertains to spiritual writings. And the other part of that is, I just pray. I just try to pray more. I mean, there's no kind of easy way to answer this. It's a tough thing to do. The reason I say I would recommend not doing it is because it is very dangerous, and I can't answer from a pastoral perspective on obviously where you are at spiritually. So this is something that would take a degree of pastoral guidance. So I would say, if you're going to go down this path for whatever reason and you feel compelled to do occult research, I would definitely consult your spiritual father or your priest, because he would know hopefully better than anyone else, if that's something that you're able to withstand. But yeah, it is it is pretty daunting. I have to take breaks. This is why I never really put myself on a schedule with what I do, whether it's on Substack or on YouTube, because I may just realize that I can't cover this stuff this week. I just got to take a break from it. So it does get overwhelming, but it also is it's got that kind of worldview changing thing where you just start to see the occult everywhere, and it's you can never unsee it. So that's also, it's kind of like a curse as well. Because I sometimes I envy people that don't even realize, that something's super esoteric or something. But I'm kind of glad that I do know. I'm glad that I'm aware of that stuff to a certain degree, because it's good to know, for raising a family, for having kids. A lot of kids shows and stuff are really occultic. I think it's what is it, the Smurfs? That's super esoteric. It's got all these occult references in the Smurfs, I believe. But yeah, anyway, the other part of this question about Christianizing, baptizing occult symbols or alchemical symbols. I'm not sure if he's asking specifically about alchemy, or reinterpreting the great work as in a theosis-based context. Okay, so that part I would say why I would question why would we need to do that, because and probably the same with the symbols, because I just think it would mostly confuse people and give them the wrong idea. That's not to say conceptually that there's anything wrong about it. I mean, I see the connection there with the great work and theosis, but I think it's important to keep those distinctions there, because the great work, for example, is just describing apotheosis. That's a form of theurgy, right? So it's inverting it's a literal inversion of theosis. So I guess the question is, do you invert the inversion? And I guess maybe you could. I just would wonder why. Like, why would you need that vocabulary that's describing, Masonic occult theurgy, right? Like, I just don't really understand why you would do that. But, I guess if you wanted to look at some more modern examples, I think of like black metal, for example. Do you guys know that there are Orthodox Christian black metal bands? So this is something I find pretty interesting because black metal was first kind of conceived in Norway and associated with Satanism, church burning, right? Buzzrum. And, and Buzzrum's story is actually crazy. If you've ever watched the documentary, or I'm sorry, not Buzzrum, Mayhem. If you've ever watched it, there's a documentary on Mayhem. I forgot what it's called, but I saw it a while ago. And like, yeah, it's just insane. I mean, there's murder and everything. Varg, I think Varg actually murdered a dude in the band and was in jail and whatnot. But anyway, there's Christian black metal now. And, this is something I think maybe what this question's getting at is like, can you baptize things that culture has deemed, satanic or esoteric or something like that? And so that maybe that's an example, but I think it's a little bit different because it's just a music genre. That's a genre. It's a sound, right? It's not a symbol. It's not, it's not like these Christian black metal bands are taking the pentagram and putting a cross in it or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, I think that's something that it would depend on what you're talking about, I think, with that stuff. I would just say with the vocabulary stuff that's like really exclusive to the occult, I would, personally, I would refrain from trying to baptize that. Not that it can't be done. Obviously, in the ancient world, a lot of pagan things were baptized, right? But, I don't know if the common layperson has like the the wherewithal to do something like that. But yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but let me catch up on chat here. What's up, guys? Sorry, I didn't say hi to you all. It's good to see you, chat. We got John Anon in the house. Hey, Anthony Westgate, speaking of rabbit holes, did you find the recent Charlie Kirk debate with Candace O? I knew this was going to come up. Guys. Actually, here's how I knew this was going to come up, because on my stream with DPH, we didn't even mention this debate. We didn't mention Candace Owens. We didn't mention Andrew Wilson. We didn't mention that there was a debate, right? There was nothing discussed about that. I said something about influencers, and there's all these comments about Andrew Wilson, and look at this, Andrew and Rachel. Like what? Like, I don't know why everyone's so obsessed with this discourse. It's just insane. People are talking about, like, there's multiple comments about love the Wilson. Like, okay, great. I just don't understand, like, why everyone's so obsessed with this. I knew people were going to ask for my take. I might reserve that for later, honestly. I'm pretty exhausted with the discourse on this. I think we need to move on. I really do. I'll say this and then we'll move on. There was something that wasn't mentioned by either person. I guess I wouldn't have expected Andrew to address this, but something that Candace really dropped the ball on was mentioning that that boomer Howard Zinn, who was the original guy that they arrested because he said, he shouted out, I think he said, "I shot her, shoot me." Or I shot him, shoot me. He said that and they arrested him. And there's like that picture of him with his pants down. And so he's claiming that he did it. And they take him in, like they arrest this guy, take him in and question him. And he admits to the police that he didn't do it, but he was glad that he said he did because it distracted everyone and allowed the real shooter to get away. This guy is in prison for 15 years on charges for pedophilia. And I don't think I said that right, but they basically said that they found PDF files on his phone and charged him for that. And now he's not even part of the trial. His name is, he's basically memory hold at this point. He's not even part of the trial. No one's questioning why there was, literally there was a patsy that they initially caught. I have questions about that. That's all. I have questions about that. Why was he there? By the way, this guy had a track record of he was a political gladfly. So he had a track record of calling in all these false flags. I think he called in a false bomb threat at a Utah marathon. Okay. And there was like a number of other things that he did that were like these false flags where he'd go to he's just a disruptor. He'd go to the political events. And so my question is, why was that guy there? Number one, sure. Maybe because he lived in Utah or whatever. Okay. But why did he initially admit that or confess to doing it and then retract his confession and say he was also glad that he did that because the guy got away? Okay. So those are the questions I have. Those weren't addressed at all. And those are like verifiable things that happened. You don't even have to get into like conspiratorial stuff. Right. So I will just say that about it. That's all. I don't know. I didn't even watch the whole thing, so I don't want to comment on it too much, but, yeah, I just think like the whole, I think what we're seeing aside from guys, can we put aside the fact that it was Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens? Put that aside. Those could have been like, let's just say it's X and Y person. X person is on the side of this event is a conspiracy. And then you have a skeptic on the other side. Right. And now what we're seeing, this is more of a meta critique on this. I think what we're seeing is because and I talked about this a bit with DPH yesterday, because of the nature of these algorithms and how it's creating these echo chambers and these like following these cult followings around these personalities, right? It all accelerates that. And I think what we're starting to see now is these seemingly, whether they're actually independent or they seem like they're independent creators and they're actually being funded by some organization, right? Regardless, what we're seeing is that there's like this dichotomy that's developing as it pertains to events that happened that may or may not be conspiratorial. And so there's no more nuance. No one's doing their own research. They're just appealing to their favorite e-celeb and whatever they say is right. I mean, like, look, with this debate, with pretty much any debate, it's not that much different with any other debate. The winners are already picked going into the debate. The side that's on side X won before the debate started, and the side on side Y won before the debate started. Okay. So it's really just when people are saying this side won or this side won, for the most part, it's that person's following that is saying that they won. It's just that simple. It's like we see this everywhere. I'm not saying anything crazy. Okay. So I'm not a fan, to be honest, of like debating conspiracies because there's so much nuance with it. And when you're going to demand something like positive evidence for, let's say, something involving Israel, what kind of evidence would you want with that? Right? What do you want to subpoena Netanyahu? Would that, like, do you expect that to happen? The US is going to subpoena Netanyahu for a potential assassination on a US political figure Is that what we really think is going to happen? So a lot of the stuff in the conspiratorial world is, it comes down to like, you look at the people or the organizations or countries or governments that are being accused, and you see their track record and look at what they've done before that's similar. And then it says that simply there is a likelihood that this X thing was involved in this conspiracy. And you look into that until there's some kind of dead end or links to something else. There's a dead end, you move on. It's maybe not that. You're really just doing your own investigative research, and it's really hard to do. Something like the JFK conspiracy, for example, you could spend the rest of your life researching that, and we just now are getting the declassified documents. We're getting access to them, right? So like for a whole 50 years, the JFK assassination was debated ad nauseum, and there's all these different theories. Because we just didn't have anything official, so it was just always left to the realm of speculation. So I don't. That's just my take. That's why I'm really just not interested in debates on conspiracies, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into any of the drama. Like the thing is about what I noticed about any kind of thing that's surrounded in drama is that when you even talk about the drama, you're getting yourself involved in it. So if you have a take on the drama, even if you're saying like, guys, I really don't like the drama. It's like people start rolling their eyes or like, oh, look at this guy. He's like, he thinks he's above the drama and stuff. So it's just like, I hate it. It's retarded, but whatever. I guess I just brought myself into it for just commenting on it. Anyway, we got 5 gifted memberships from Jonathan Kelly. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the very generous support there for the 5 gifted. Brother Seraphim Rosario, let's go. I'm not sure why this isn't coming up on the screen. I kind of have like a new layout set up here, so I'm not sure. Let me see if I can fix this, so I can actually get your nice comments on the screen here. But anyway, yeah, and thank you for the $10 from Seraphim Rosario. Thank you, brother. He says we're still in year 1 AK, and she forgot about George Zinn. SMH, yeah. All jokes aside, there's podcasts he's done, and his background aside from the recent arrest is suspect to say the least. Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that it's very suspect, and I can't believe that. However long that debate was, his name wasn't even brought up. Like, I just can't believe that. Because I would have liked to hear a discussion on that at the very least, if I was going to be interested in anything with that discussion. Yeah, sorry guys, let me get this chat thing pulled up. One sec. And I got some more questions here, so I'll keep it going in a sec. Okay. All right, hopefully this works. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to get this going. Let me see. Reload. Okay, what's this? Yeah, this isn't working, so whatever. I'll have to get that fixed. Yeah, I did some stuff where like I basically got off of the StreamYard thing I was using, and now I've got a whole OBS only setup. So anyway, yeah, for tonight I can't put your messages up on the screen. I'll just read them. Okay, so I'm going to move on here. I hope that's I don't know what kind of answer you would be good. or what you're looking for with that, but that's kind of, I don't know if I need to say anything else about that. I'm just I'm very exhausted just seeing all of the debates still ongoing almost a week later about that, and, you know, debating the debate, right? Like how many times we need to debate over who won the debate. It's just like, I don't know, man. Okay. So the next question, oh, this is from, I don't know if okay, I'll keep this anonymous. This was an email. This person may or may not be in the chat. So it says, "Hey, Mr. Westgate, I love when people call me Mr. Westgate. I feel like such a boomer. That's just unk status if people are calling you Mr. I just had some relatives visit, and they are, quote, sovereign citizen folks. And my cousin was constantly talking about all that sovereignty law stuff and hidden meanings in the words in the Constitution and the Bible. Many years ago, I slightly went down that rabbit hole, so I sort of understand what they're talking about. But I wondered if you ever did any research or accidentally ran into about all that stuff during your Protestantism and American Christianity research. As an Orthodox inquirer, I am, of course, convinced of the Orthodox faith having similar philosophical journey." Okay, I'm going to just get to the substance here. So I think it's basically about like sovereignty law, like these sovereign citizens, right? Anyway, my cousin gave me the copy of the Constitution and a citizen's rule book. And while looking through it and seeing the signers of the Declaration of Independence, I'm remembering of how so many of the founding fathers were Freemasons. And yet my aunt and cousin said that they believed the Freemasons are evil. So it didn't make any sense. Okay. So I think I see what you're saying here. Yeah, like the whole sovereign citizen thing, that's like very popular in libertarian circles and anarchist culture, right? Like announcing or renouncing your birth. I think it's something to do with like renouncing either your U.S. citizenship or your birth certificate or in your social security. I don't know exactly how that's even done, but it's basically like, you know, I'm not going to be a documented citizen with the U.S. government. I think, you know, as far as like a Masonic connection with that, there's probably something there. I mean, that's just like textbook radical individualism, right? That's kind of the anarchist philosophy. That's like where it emerges from, is Enlightenment philosophy. It's I think not compatible with Orthodoxy whatsoever. And there has been statements on this. So if you go to, this is the basis of the social concept of the Russian Orthodox Church. There's one that that we have from GoArch 2, I believe. But you can look up here, and if you just type like sovereign, right, just do a keyword search, because there's a lot in here. This is a huge document, and it's like a lot to do with what our relationship to the state should look like. And he's saying that in the countries where the Reformation triumphed, and in some Catholic countries, the territorial principle was established in church, state, religions, giving a state full sovereignty over territory. Okay, this is more about the state. But I mean, look, we pray for our government and the civil authorities every liturgy, right? We're instructed to give to Caesar what's owed to Caesar. Okay, so we are instructed by Scripture and by our, you know, it's like there in our liturgy as well that we should participate in the, you know, the rules and laws of our country. And there are exceptions to that. It's like, you know, if there's something tyrannical, if it's something like Soviet Russia, right, where it's just like a blatantly anti-Christian kind of revolutionary overthrow of a, you know, at that time, obviously it was an Orthodox monarchy, but, you know, I don't know what that would look like exactly today. But yeah, it does call, like there's, I think, a time and a place for like dissenting against tyrannical laws and stuff like that. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what, But as far as like being a sovereign citizen, I don't think that has any place in Orthodoxy. And plus, it makes your life very difficult. Like, I don't understand why anyone would do that besides like just ideological reasons. And maybe, I guess I do understand why people would do that. I mean, I used to be an anarchist. I guess I was a LARPing anarchist because I wasn't a sovereign citizen. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I understand, but it's just why make your life difficult? You know, they're going to find it. Like, do you guys watch any of those like body cam videos? There's a bunch of them where and I just saw this going around on X the other day, where they were trying to get information on a sovereign citizen, and the cops were getting really frustrated, even though she was technically not breaking the law, because it's not. I don't think it's required by law to give the cops your ID unless you're suspected of a crime, something like that. I'm not the person to talk about law, but you know, people, I guess sovereign citizens know this stuff, right? And so she just was like, I don't have an ID. Like, I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't have an ID. I can't give you anything. Like, I can give you my name and that's it. And they were getting all pissed off, and they tried to arrest her for not giving her ID, or giving them her ID. It's just like, dude, they're going to find out, like, I don't know. I just don't understand why you'd make your life really difficult, just on a pragmatic level, but on a spiritual level, I don't think it's compatible at all with Orthodoxy. So I don't know if that answers your question. So yeah, the Orthodox Church does not support it. And it's mostly, yeah, I think you're right about that being almost an exclusively American modern political theory that likely does emerge from, I wouldn't be able to directly connect it to Freemasonry, but like, yeah, like I said, you can see the radical individualism, which I think is more so an Enlightenment thing. So yeah, it's not really anywhere in, like, it's not like we have patristic writings about being a sovereign citizen. Next question is from, this is from Father James. So sorry, these are from some of these are from a while ago. I think this one was from during Pascha. So this is, I had these sitting in my inbox for a while. But this one is, I think this might be even more relevant now. He says, Dear Anthony, can you share your thoughts on the following? There have been numerous officially endorsed online content creators who have had a negligible impact on over the last 25 years in piquing people's interest in the Orthodox faith. Yet people like yourself, who may not even target Orthodox outreach, have exposed numerous people to the one true faith. Consequently, some are at least motivated to walk through the doors of their local Orthodox parish, and many of these are eventually baptized Orthodox. I am aware of the standard answer that God is calling to himself those that are in the times of darkness. While this, of course, is true, God desires all men come to him for the knowledge of the truth and be saved. Presumably, this would also include those from the earlier yet recent times who were unmotivated by officially endorsed online outreach. So just for context, what he means by, I assume this is what he means by officially endorsed online outreach, is like the YouTube channels that are ran by clerics, by priests, that, and specifically priests that are like largely endorsed by various jurisdictions in America. I would assume that's what he means. And so he says, this would include those people. And then, do you think that there will be a time when the professional class will embrace, and the professional class, I think what he means is the previously mentioned, official voices, right? Do you think that there will be a time when the professional class will embrace the underappreciated work being done by people such as yourself, or will continue in the current mode of the professionals criticizing individuals such as Jay Dyer, while at the same time reaping the fruits of such labor? Yeah, and that's a great question. I can probably yap about this for a while, but as far as there's multiple points here, but as far as like work like what I do, I'm not the only one doing the type of work I'm doing. But the kind of work that I do, I'm not targeting specifically Orthodox Christians. And that's why I try to cover a lot of stuff that is, you know, in the conspiracy world and things, because I think that actually does point to Orthodoxy, maybe indirectly, but it shows, you know, that there's these occult forces at work in the world, and that they're ultimately demonic, and that, you know, our home is grounded in the Orthodox Church. That's kind of our only, as Father Seraphim Rose says, it's our only escape is through Christ, right? And so in kind of a very indirect way, it points to that. And obviously I'm Orthodox. I talk about Orthodoxy. I consider myself personally just a researcher who is Orthodox. Okay, I'm a researcher. These are the subjects I research, and I happen to be Orthodox, so that's my bias. I'm putting it on the table. And so I delve into Orthodox subjects, but and this is the reason, by the way, why my account grew so large on Twitter. This is why I have 55,000 something followers on Twitter, is because I didn't limit myself. I didn't cap myself in the ortho Twitter space, whatever it's called now, right? I didn't just like talk exclusively about Orthodoxy and kind of pigeonhole my reach by getting involved in all these like ortho Twitter echo chamber arguments and drama and disputes and things like that, because I knew that there was a lot of people that were starting to follow me that weren't Orthodox. And it's like, why even bring that into their feed? Like, what does that do? It just shows them that there's all this infighting within this very small minority group of Christians that are online. It's like, I just didn't see the upside to it. But anyway, and that's not to say that the people who are talking exclusively about Orthodoxy aren't also bringing people in the church. They're probably even driving more people to the church. I don't know. We don't have like metrics on this. I have no idea. I'm not really particularly interested either in like doing these comparisons or whatever, but I see it as like whatever gets them into the church is good. If they're coming in for the wrong reasons, if they were misguided, that will correct itself. Usually they just end up leaving. They get frustrated with something. Oh, it's not as based as I thought it was, and they leave or whatever. Oh, I can't talk about Mustache Man here at coffee hour. I guess I'm out. Fine. Leave it to the priest to, do the catechesis, right? Just get them into the church. So, I think that, and that's just a general kind of, it's hard to talk about this stuff, but that's a general take on that. But as far as like the officially endorsed creators, channels, whatever, voices, endorsing people like me or Jay Dyer or DPH, right? The question is there a time, can you see there being a time where that is something that's done? I think it already is starting to happen. I mean, there are priests who are, going on these channels that are talking with these YouTubers and with these other creators and stuff. That's kind of an endorsement, isn't it? If you're going on their channel in a way. But as far as like a more widespread support, I think he's talking about, like, I don't know. I mean, I think that we're going to need to see probably more involvement with these independent creators and their spiritual fathers or priests, like overseeing their work. That's probably going on to some degree right now, but like, I don't know what that looks like. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. So I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. But yeah, but I did notice that, to his last point there, that a lot of, maybe a couple years ago, when there was that like shit list going around where it was like, these Orthodox creators are bad, stay away from them. There were all these priests were encouraging their laity to, avoid people like Jay Dyer. There was other names on the list, I don't remember. And he's right. Father James is right that they were doing that and then also reaping the fruits of their labor, because people like Jay Dyer were driving a ton of young people into the church. And I still see that. I still see that almost on a weekly basis. There's new people that come into my parish more than the 5 years that I've been attending, in a very significant way. And a lot of them are finding out about Orthodoxy online. Many of them do watch channels like Father Spirit and Bailey, which they should be. There's certain priests that I would say watch those guys. Don't watch people like me. And he's certainly one of them. But they all come into contact with Jay Dyer's content. So to some degree, they're seeing that, and I don't know what kind of content exactly, because he covers a lot of stuff, but great. I know that debates are sending people in. I don't quite understand that, but I guess if there's people that are seeking and they're more on the fence about things, it really helps to hear arguments, especially against the position that maybe you are coming out of. So that's very effective. But yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but I don't know. And I think maybe what he's getting into here might be like about the apologetic stuff, which that's another thing that maybe I can get into that. That I feel like I can yap for a whole stream on apologetics, the current state of apologetics. Let's just say, I've said this before, so I'll say it again here, but one of the reasons there's plenty of reasons I don't do apologetics, but one of them is that I know that I would be too hot-headed. I would fly off the handle. I would say things to people that I would end up regretting, and wish that I did a better job representing Orthodoxy. And plus I don't even feel like I'm well suited enough to quote represent Orthodoxy, because even if you you're saying like, oh, I'm not an official voice of Orthodoxy or whatever, right? Like how Protestants think, like, because this is an Orthodox person speaking, this is the Orthodox take. Even if you kind of frame what you're saying like that, they're going to take it like that anyway. And so I don't think I'm suited for that. That's all. So that's why, it's like props to the guys who do that, because I can't. But, I think that there certainly could be like maybe better optics with that, but I won't even get into details about that. That's just my opinion, guys. All right. It's no hills to die on here. Got $2 from Plutonian Podcast. This sovereign citizen class in America are not citizens. Yeah. They're not official citizens. Yeah. I don't know exactly how that works, but let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Sorry. Again, I'm a little off because I don't have my system working, I guess. Annie says, Jay is how I learned what Orthodoxy is and how I learned of Father Seraphim Rose. Yeah. I mean, look, Jay played a big part in my conversion as well. I was on his Discord. I was very active on there, and his community was really helpful to me at the time. I joined Jay Dyer's Discord at I can't speak to what it was like before I came, but this was towards the end of this happening. It was probably the best time for me to join, because at the time we had Metropolitan Jonah on the Discord every week doing catechesis lectures, and he would do a 1-hour lecture and then stay on the voice chat and answer any questions that anyone had until there was no more questions. And believe me, there was unthinkable questions that you wouldn't even be able to imagine that people would ask him, and he would not even miss a beat. Like nothing stumped him. Nothing that was asked was like, he didn't even react really to any of the questions. He just answered them. And so that was an amazing time to be there. And I'm very grateful that that community was there, and that, that Jay's content really helped me out, being a former prot. So we love Jay here, don't we, guys? What else? Okay. I got a few more questions, and then I'm going to open up. I don't know if there's anyone even on Discord, but if not, there's plenty I can cover here. This one's from Stranik on Substack. He says, "Dear Anthony, Christos Anesti." Okay, remember, some of these were from Pascha. He says, "What is your opinion on America becoming holy?" Okay, we're going to get into the the title finally. Opinion on America becoming holy. Do you see it being eventually purified or becoming more hedonistic? I am not sure if you have ever read the book called Icon. No, I haven't. I personally see something similar happening in the GAE. Yeah. So here we're getting into the topic here. So what I will do is show this here, because I did get into this a little bit on DPH's stream yesterday as well. Now, this is a great website by my friend Jonathan with Eschaton Vigil, doing great work over there, where he's compiling all of these quotes, excerpts, sayings of our modern, I don't even think they're just modern, but I think they're mostly modern elders and saints, and what they've said about geopolitical events, prophecies, things, that may be on the horizon. And, so you can see here, he has a whole, this is really valuable here because it's a whole timeline. Because a lot of this stuff, like we read one of the books, what is it? Eschatological Visions of the Blessed, I think it's called, last year in the book club. And it was kind of hard to piece the timeline together, because you're just reading, like, here's what this, here's a collection of excerpts from this saint, right? And so it was like really hard to kind of piece the events together. And so he does that all here. Like, he gives you a timeline, right? So it's like, here's all the stuff that was fulfilled already, that was prophesied about. And so, there's a pending false council, right? And so you can look at, I think it's Orthodox Renewal, Global Orthodox Renewal. And look, this is towards the end of the timeline. I mean, look, the answer, I'll just give you the answer here, is like, yes, like, according to the prophecies, for however much weight you want to give these. I know that there's disputes over like the validity of some of these claims, because and the way that they're collected. But keep in mind the quote that everyone loves to post online from St. Paisios, that what did he say? I tell you, one day America will be holy. So that was, I don't know if people realize where that comes from, but that came from a person who visited him on Mount Athos. He's still alive. And he said that St. Paisios said that, and he posted it on Facebook. That's where that's from. So it's like, do what you want with that. Well, why would he lie? I don't know. I'm sure probably St. Paisios did say that. So, people just post that as if like, we just keep doing what we're doing. Oh, look, Orthodoxy's growing. It's like, now it's at 1% of the Christian population in America. So look, we're growing, right? It's important to kind of look outside the echo chamber. Like, if you go on your Twitter feed, you're going to get the idea that Orthodoxy is like booming across America, which it is within like, it's booming compared to how it was this whole time in America to a degree, right? It's like, it's not booming in the sense that like, you're walking down the street and like you're hearing public conversations about it and stuff, right? Still, most of the population is not aware of what Orthodoxy is. Okay. So, you know, people, it's really hard to perceive it that way if you're just extremely online and everything you're seeing is like, because the algorithm is giving you more Orthodox content because that's what you engage with. And it's like that for anything. But yeah, look, I hate to be the doomer poster here. But this whole timeline's kind of a doomer post, isn't it? Like all these prophecies were like not, a lot of these prophecies are a hard pill to swallow. Okay. But from what I gather from this timeline, look at these, right? Oh, America, you will feed the whole world, and in the end, you will starve. In the heart of North America, a gigantic volcano will erupt. The eruption will damage the nearby nuclear facility. The water, air, and the land will be poisoned. Babylon the Great will be destroyed. Revelation says it clearly. Who is Babylon? America. That's from Elder Joseph the Athonite. So, you know, there's a bunch of these. That's just a few of. I've seen like a whole list of stuff. Oh, here, this is from Elder Joseph of Vatopedi. No, I'm not saying that right. Vatopedi. Sorry. America will be completely destroyed, and 99% of its citizens will be killed. Whoa, that's pretty wild. 99% of Americans will be killed. That's from Elder Joseph. Okay, so this is what I mean. It's like, these are the ones that you don't see people posting that go viral all the time. Because who wants to see that? Who wants to see that on their feed? That's not, you know, that seems like it contradicts America will be holy. And so where does that fit in the timeline? It comes after there's a cleansing period, it seems. It seems that there's a destruction of America, World War III. Okay, all these geopolitical events happen, and then there's a global Orthodox renewal. So it's like, look, you want America to be holy, start preparing for this stuff here. That's what I'm trying to do with the stuff the work I'm doing. I'm trying to do that to prompt people to actually take action, start localizing, start building offline communities, start prepping, right, for some kind of disaster. Because like a lot of these prophecies, they involve some kind of like, you know, tsunami or volcano erupting. It seems like I think there's a number of them that involve a tsunami wiping out the coastal regions and stuff. So I don't know exactly how this is going to go down. I'm not claiming to, but just from what I'm gathering from these collections of prophecies is that, like, yeah, there's going to be some bad stuff that's going to happen to America, whether you like it or not. Okay. Do I want to see this happen? Of course not. Does anybody, I mean, maybe our enemies, enemies of America probably would love to see this, but like, we don't want to see this happen. But you know, this seems to be what they're saying is going to happen. Yeah. It's Babylon. Sorry. I'll send a link to this. Yeah. I'm going to post this here. Are they conditional? That's a good question. I mean, I think, I don't know, but I think I remember seeing some, I wouldn't be able to tell you who, but I think I remember seeing quotes that say something like, you know, with prayer, some of the things might be able to change course. Like, I don't know if this is all, if this is all like the will of God, like how it's going to go down. I'm not even saying that this is like we're getting a glimpse to the future of God's will or something, but I don't know how to answer that. I would say this should definitely still not discourage you from praying for our country. In fact, it should prompt you to pray more for our country. So, like just pray for America, I guess. So yeah, that's the bad news. That's the bad news, is that it's not like America is going to be holy because Orthodoxy is growing online. Okay. I hate to say it, but it's good. It's still a good thing. It's growing online. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing new people walk in the door on Sunday because they found out about Orthodoxy online. But it's not like, what I'm saying is, we're still at 1%, guys. Okay. We're at 1% of the population. We have to get through all this. If we even see this in our lifetime, we're going to see some persecution. Okay. We're not going to see like this like based American Orthodox monarch under the current political system we have. Like, we're not going to vote in a czar, you know? So it's like something has to collapse. Something has to collapse. And I think one of the prophecies, I don't remember who it's from, but it said that the American empire will collapse, right? So it's like, that's the state apparatus. So yeah, there you go, guys. There's the answer to that. Again, just based on what I'm seeing here, that's all. This is still probably speculative based on like, the degrees of validity of these quotes, but I think that there's enough of these prophecies to say that there is going to be judgment that comes upon America, among all these other things that, we see all this stuff that already played out at the top. These were prophecies that were fulfilled already, right here. I mean, look at all these. Like, go to World War Now is like who you want to be watching for this stuff. If you're into prophecies and how they relate to geopolitical events, I'm certainly no expert on this stuff. Go to Conrad and Dimitri over at World War Now. Shout out to those guys, doing great work. And, that's another very underappreciated channel that I really would love to see them thrive on YouTube. So go support them. Go subscribe to World War Now. It's very important work. Again, some of this stuff, I get why maybe it's not as popular on here, because everyone comes to YouTube to be entertained, and it's like, who wants to hear about these sometimes really doomy geopolitical things happening. So anyway, I'll move on here. Let me catch up on some of the super chats. Yo, what's up, Gravios? He says, for $10, thank you, man. Shoot, dude, I was in Dyer's Discord since 2016 or 2018, one of the two, but it's been a hot minute. It's a different place now. I blame the women. Yeah, well, I can't even comment on that. I haven't been active on there in a long time. I'm still somehow a mod on there. So I maybe that's why I checked out. It might have something to do with that. Yeah, things did change a bit, but thank you for the $20 from Defying Fate 77. Thank you very much. Says, I love the work. Love the work. Thank you, brother or sister there. I appreciate the very generous support. Much love. Anthony is a fine citizen of Wixantium. Yeah. That's right. Make sure I didn't miss. Sorry. Again, I apologize if I'm missing. I'm going to try to see if I can pull this thing up for the super chats, because I do not have all my stuff together. I thought I did. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Antonius of Wixantium, thank you for your work. Much appreciated. Octavian, always appreciate your support, brother. Very, very kind of you. Like I said, got more deep dives coming up. Just want to check in with everyone. Just be present. Just make sure you guys are doing good, doing well. But we got one, what is it? Two more questions that I have selected, and then I can open things up. I don't know if anyone wants to jump on a panel or something. We'll see how that goes. But here's from, let me see. Okay, this is from YouTube, I think. This is from a YouTube community comment from maybe a couple months ago, and I just saw it recently, so this is very relevant to the previous question. Hey, Anthony, if our prophecies are true, then we should all be working to get on decentralized systems for communicating, sharing media, and trading. you have any videos on OS like Linux, and what social media do you recommend? Also, what's your stance on BTC or gold, and which trading platforms do you prefer? Great questions, great comment. Obviously, I 1,000% agree with this, that we should all start getting to work on employing decentralized systems for communicating, especially considering that, look, again, you want America to be holy, you want to work towards that. Well, we're going to go through a period where so I'm going to refer here to my article, okay? So, because I quoted from, actually, maybe I can show it. Well, I'll show you the source, but I quoted one of the prophecies here. If I can find it. Oh, I've got to fix that. It's right here at the top, I think. Yeah. In 2021, an unverified report documented the following warning from Elder Panagiotis Siolis. Again, I know I'm butchering the Greek there. Communications will be cut, satellites, phones, and the internet. Okay. Just, that's what he said. According to an unverified report. So we don't know the legitimacy of this, but that's something that, if all these other things are going to happen, why wouldn't that happen, right? If there's going to be like volcanoes and 99% of the population will be wiped out and there's going to be tsunamis and whatnot, why wouldn't there be no satellites, phones, and internet? Okay. And so it's not like this specific prophecy is what prompted me to do all this. But yeah, I mean, this is literally one of the reasons I built this platform, or forum rather, Permanet, where we're working towards basically salvaging what we can that's worth offlining in some kind of offline scenario, and, you know, collecting liturgical works exclusively online, Orthodox content that might be useful in an offline scenario, books, libraries, media, not even only Orthodox stuff, but even just survival guides, offline maps, right? Like all this stuff. And I'll show you a little bit of what I did as an example. This is called KeyWix. This is a program you can self-host. It's super lightweight, open source, free. And this is basically a offline browser. And so you would host this on your local machine. And if you have a collection of offline websites, which maybe I can get into a little bit, I don't want to nerd out too much here and lose people, but there's a way that you could, it mostly pertains to wikis and things like that, which is like mostly like plain text websites that just have links and stuff. Like you wouldn't want to, I don't think you can do this with like some kind of JavaScript heavy website that has a ton of media and images on it. But for wikis, it's perfect. And you can just download offline websites basically. So like, here's the entirety of Wikipedia. That it might take a second to load here. I'm not going to even bother loading that, but okay, here's a Psalter that I downloaded. So somebody built an online version of the Psalter. So I mean, this is really simple. It's like, who doesn't have a physical copy of the Psalter? But it's just an example, right? I got the entirety of the Orthodox wiki, all 5,000 articles. I have offline, and I can browse this entire website offline. I can get any information I need from this website. I can search it. It behaves the same way as it does online, even faster, in fact. I got the Orthodox Christian Information Center. This is offline as well. Okay. So it's in permanent archive mode. Perfect opportunity to make an offline copy. Like, this isn't going to get updated. And this is a invaluable resource that it's like one of the resources we can't really afford to lose access to. Even if like, forget like this kind of speculative, like there's going to be some kind of internet outage or whatever, however that even would happen. Even if there's like this site, just on a practical level, the site might just go down. It's like we are just depending on a single maintainer who has not updated it for years. Since 2022, this hasn't been updated. So like you're just depending on whoever's running this website to keep it up and running on the host and paying for the, if he is paying for the host or paying for the domain to be active, like we're just depending on that. And how many websites are like that? Like a lot of them, if not all of them, are really valuable stuff that we can't afford to lose. So anyway, that's kind of that's one of the things I'm trying to encourage here. We're also working on building offline communications networks through mesh networking, so that we don't need to have it. Like it literally would not matter if all the comms go out. We don't have access to cell towers. There's no internet, right? There's some kind of extreme scenario where now you can't text people, you can't use your phone. Even for privacy reasons, it's a good thing to get this kind of thing set up because it's really cheap. Like you can get all the equipment you need to run a mesh node and start actually communicating with other people that are in your range. You could do this for like $30 to $50. You can just get all the stuff you need for like $30, $50 and start actually having peer-to-peer encrypted communications without internet or without without cell signals, and just talk to, they're random in the sense that they're just whoever is, running a node or on an extended network in that area. But what if we did that for monasteries and for local Orthodox communities? What if we did that for our parishes, right? So that the whole parish community could stay in contact with each other in some kind of catastrophic event where there's no communications, right? Like this stuff, we need these layers sorted out. If we believe this stuff is going to happen, right? I posted a whole video. So like I uploaded the archived video of Father Peter Here's talking about all this for 3 hours because it pertains to what we're doing, right? So like stuff like that it's a focused community. It's not a place to come and get in, start posting about drama and like current event slop. Okay. The current events are related to this stuff. It's related to like digital IDs, privacy crackdowns, things that would impact, like things we should know about and that we can take action on. And so, yeah, the other thing was about like Linux. No, I don't have any videos about Linux. I would be willing to. I mean, the thing is, there's so many videos on Linux. It's like name any distro and you can find multiple videos on how to install it, how to get up and running. I understand why people might want a video from me doing it, but I don't think I'd be doing anything different than what's already out there. And I don't know that it would translate on my channel. I think people would be like, why is this guy uploading Linux videos? I'm here for Orthodox schizo posting or something. I don't know. But I would love to get into more nerdy tech stuff with you guys. A lot of you have been asking about Linux since I guess I've been talking about it, and we're seeing the starting in 2027, we're going to be seeing. I talked about this in the article. These crackdowns on, like, there's going to be laws that are going to require all the major OSs to implement age verification checks, which is basically, this is the Trojan horse for digital IDs. This is like, we are now beta testing digital IDs to use the software that connects to the internet. And so I talk about that here. U.S. House passed and repackaged Kids Online Safety Act, requiring age verification to access adult content. Now they're doing this under the guise of like, it's for like the Epstein class now wants us to think that they're going to babysit our children and protect them from dangerous online content. So that's what they're saying this is about. And that way it's like really hard to push back against it, because it's like, oh, well, you don't care about the safety of children online, right? In June 2026 alone, Reddit, Discord, and Apple and Meta positioned themselves as just some of the many big tech companies planning for an age verification system. And then in the US, it's arriving at the software level through bipartisan legislation. And we already have this happening. This is happening in Texas with the App Store. That was in effect as of January of this year. And Alabama is following suit in 2027, Utah in May, and Louisiana in July. And they're pushing for, and I think New York as well. I forgot to mention that. New York and California. These laws push verification out of the website and into the OS itself. So it's not going to be like you go to a website and you have to press like, are you 18? Yes or no. These are like more like what you see on Discord to use the 18 plus channels. I wouldn't know because I don't use 18 plus channels, but apparently you have to actually submit your ID. It's like, it's going to be more like what's to get the blue check mark on Twitter. Like you're submitting your ID to an age verification system that's probably Israeli owned and operated, like the Twitter one is. And I think they're actually even affiliated with Palantir, of course. But anyway, this is one layer that you simply can't route around by using VPNs, which are also facing state crackdowns. And they already have this in effect in Brazil, by the way, on the operating system level. So I feel like I've talked about this ad nauseum. It's fine. I'm going to probably be talking about it a lot more as we get closer to this actually happening. But like, this is something I think we should all be aware of that directly impacts our daily lives, because this could be something that, like, at first it seems like, okay, what's the big deal? I've been doing this my whole experience on the internet, clicking age verification checks, like as a toggle to visit a website. You know, you go to the Zin website or whatever, and it's like, are you 18? Yeah. You just click yes or no. What's the big deal? Well, that's like part of why I think so many people are going to do this, because it's like, we've been doing this all along. What's the big deal? And it's eventually going to get to the point where if you don't want to do that because you know it's going to inevitably lead to actual digital IDs where you have like this digital passport that you have to verify your government identity in order to just browse the internet. And again, they're doing this on the OS level. So any operating system that connects to the internet, whether you're online or not, you're going to have to do this even to just use the OS. And so that's, you know, that's like everyone, like that's everyone except Linux users. And they're trying to do this with Linux. I don't think they're going to be able to, at least not with the more niche distros. But that's why, you know, I've been talking about Linux. It's like, you guys want to avoid this? Well, your time with iOS, Apple, Windows, that's all limited. Enjoy it while you have it, I guess. But I would advise you start planning your exit. I mean, you can get on these alternate OSs right now and just, you know, get a head start and just learn how they work. It's really not hard. Using Linux is actually in many ways a lot easier than Windows. And people are always scared because they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do like video editing and, you know, Photoshop and all this stuff. Well, yeah, you can actually. I don't know why you'd want to use Adobe anyway. Like you could basically do everything you already do on Windows and Mac OS on Linux and it's free. I haven't paid for a single piece of software, and a lot of the stuff I use is better than the paid software I've used. So, you know, you shouldn't have to really like subscribe monthly, like pay a fee to use any software on Linux. That's really, I can't even think of a single piece of software that requires something like that on Linux. So yeah, it's really easy. It's really easy to use. It's really not a big deal. I think probably the hardest thing is going to be for people who like have to work with these operating systems. Like for whatever reason, they're in the Microsoft suite or something, and you know, it's required to have it on your computer for work. That's going to be tricky. But so is navigating, getting the jabbies so you can continue working, right? So anyway, I'm sorry if I'm spurging too much on the nerdy stuff here, but here's a $10 from Nope Man. Thank you for the 10 Canadian. Appreciate the generous support there. He says, since hearing you talk about mesh networks and having a backup means of communication. I'm sorry, I'm like skipping through these because it keeps, I have to keep scrolling up to read these. I've been wondering how feasible it would be to set up inter-parish communication grid, at least nationwide. Nationwide would be a lot tougher because, and that's why, like that. So that's a whole other reason why I built this, because like we really need a platform that is like designated to this being one of the things we do, is like communicate across the country, because you could theoretically do that. You could set up a nationwide mesh network. It would take some time. It would take some dedication. It would take people setting up nodes where there's no communications happening yet. So you'd have to understand to some degree how the networking operates and the utility and just keeping the node up and running, even if no one's connecting to it. But yes, you could do that. It would take some time. That's kind of the idea, though. You start on the local level. You start setting up a node. You just show people how it works. Like, I think the most effective way to do it is to just set it up yourself and show people, just be like, I have 2 devices here, and I'm going to send a message. I'm going to send a message with this device. It could be an iPhone, Android, whatever. And it's going to go to this device, and I'm not connected to the internet, and I'm not connected to my network provider for mobile. So there's a completely offline message, and you just show them. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Too complicated. Just show them how it works, and, you know, let them tell you they want it set up, and then you can set it up for them. It's pretty easy to do. And I can't imagine there's many parishes that would be like, no, don't do that. Because it's like, you just, you put it somewhere that's, ideally you want it like an antenna, right? Like you want to put a node like at a higher altitude. So you'd have to figure that out. But yeah, it's so small. I can't imagine that would be a problem for many people. So yeah, that's the goal. I mean, that would be great. But I think most importantly and most pressing is that you focus on the local level right now. Just start getting these smaller, like there's no reason that the more densely populated Orthodox areas in America shouldn't already have this kind of thing set up, where they can actually just have offline communications. I mean, there is a reason. It's because no one knows you can do it and no one's willing to do it. But again, that's what we're trying to do. Another, what is this? $10 from Defy. Okay, I think I got that one from Defying Fate. We got another one, $5. Thank you guys for very generous support here tonight. I appreciate it, especially just because I'm here yapping, not doing anything too esoteric, too interesting with these deep dives I do. But thank you to Byzantium Big Boss for $5. If you have an AMD processor, you can get SteamOS for free. It's a version of Arch Linux. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Bazite, I think it's called, Bazite Linux. Yeah, it runs great. Like Steam actually, shout out to Gabe Newell, Gabe, because Steam OS really like transformed Linux, and it made it more normie friendly. It made it like the big hurdle, I think, with a lot of people was gaming. It's like, oh, can I game on Linux? You had to do all this stuff like install Wine so you can run like a Windows emulator type thing, like to run Steam games. And now there's very, very few games in my Steam library. I don't play games anymore, but I have a pretty big Steam library. And like I can play probably like 95% of the games in my Steam library on Linux with no problem. And that's thanks to Steam OS. And I don't even run Bazite, but yeah, that kind of eliminated a whole huge excuse that people don't use Linux for, is like, oh, I can't game. Well, yeah, now you can actually, and it runs better. Most games run better on Linux. They're less of a resource hog. I run this whole stream out of Linux, by the way. I'm not even as of now, as of this stream, I'm purely running everything through Linux. I was using this website that's like StreamYard, and I'm not even using that anymore. And it's actually, I think it's looking better. What do you guys think? I don't know. Yeah. So okay. Sorry. I'll move on to the. I'll get through the. I think there's one more question here, and then I'll open it up. So the next one is. Oh, I wasn't even done with this comment. So that was just the first part of it. But oh yeah, okay. I covered the Linux videos. Oh, what social media do you recommend? I would say I don't recommend any social media. I recommend RSS feeds. And I know what you might think. Oh, but you're on Twitter. You post on Twitter. You're active on Twitter. Yes, I would not be on Twitter if I weren't doing all the content I'm doing, basically. And I still might even, like, I'm playing with the idea. I've done this before. I've like left Twitter. I didn't delete my account, but I was completely off of Twitter for like a good 6 months. And the next time that happens, I think I'm probably going to delete my account, or at least like offline, or do like an archive of it. Like I'll just archive my posts, because I know people are going to be like, I still want access to your posts. I see people like retweeting stuff that I posted years ago, like every day. So I would try to keep up the archive, but I fantasize about leaving X completely. With that said, unless you have like a business reason to be on any social media, I would just not be on it. I think it's largely contributing to a lot of the problems that are literally killing the internet. It's contributing to like how this infinite bot takeover has happened. And on top of that, it's just like frying our brains. Like everyone's gigafried from this short form content, all this slop. There's like a study about how our collective attention span is on average less than that of a goldfish. And it's because like it's correlated directly to social media from consuming short form content. And because what it's done is it reduces your attention span to 6 seconds or less, because that's the amount of time you determine if it's worth engaging with a piece of content on a short form platform. Like you have 6 seconds to catch someone's attention. I think it's probably even less than that. I feel like it's more like 2 seconds. So yeah, I would say don't be on social media. But if I had to pick one, maybe Substack, because they have the notes platform that has gotten a lot better. I guess better in terms of more active, because you have like, a lot of them just link to long form content directly. Like you're engaging with like long form reading or long form video or audio content. So I would say do Substack, but I would say really, if you have no pragmatic reason, like if you're not making money basically on social media, you're the product. You're being farmed for your data. It's free for you, but it's not really free, because you're actually just like your data cattle for for these big tech corporations that are farming all of your data, every single thing you do on there. Every time you open the app, it's running in the background and it's farming your data. So don't subject yourself to that. You can still stay in the loop with things through RSS. I know many of you may not even know what that is. It's an old school internet. It's like, this was before the days of social media. It's software. It's very super lightweight software. It's free, open source. There's tons of these RSS feeds now, and you can subscribe to various blogs, probably YouTube. I think YouTube channels. I think Twitter accounts too. If you wanted to, Reddit subreddits and stuff, if you wanted to do that. But yeah, there's a ton of things that you could subscribe to on RSS on the internet. Like most news sites still have RSS, and you basically are crafting a custom feed. Because part of the problem with social media is that most of the content you're getting, you didn't even consent to seeing that. You didn't like agree to, see this stuff that the algo is pushing in front of you. And that's part of why it's so addicting as well. So you could spend a lot less time getting the news and the information that you consented to getting on your own custom feed, and it's not addicting because it's not this continuous, infinite scroll. So I would say do that. And then what's your stance on BTC or gold? Okay, that's a whole stream. But these days I prefer gold. I'll just say that. Gold and silver. Silver is a lot more, like at this point, if you're trying to get into precious metals, just start buying silver, because that's I think around $50 an ounce, maybe 40 last time I checked. I forget. When I got into silver, it was like $26 an ounce. So it's gone up almost double since I started getting into it. It's just a lot easier to get into silver. It's cheaper. Not everyone's got $3,000 on hand to buy like a fraction of gold, so yeah, it comes in it's just more expensive for the smaller denominations. But yeah, I'm very much pro bullion. And as far as BTC goes, it makes sense to hold some BTC just on a practical level, but it's not my preferred crypto. I would highly suggest Monero for like real private payments. Like that's like the only true privacy coin that, and that it's legit. Like I know people say like, oh, how do you know it's not a Fed honeypot? Or they'll just flat out say it's a Fed honeypot. Here's how I know, because XMR has been deplatformed from every major crypto exchange. Like you can't go on Coinbase and buy XMR. So if it were a Fed honeypot, why would it be deplatformed? Like, why would they make it very hard for the average normie to buy it? But on top of that, it's untraceable. It's like truly untraceable. So XMR is kind of what people think Bitcoin is. And so, yeah, just on a practical level, I'm speaking. Okay. I'm not going to get into the whole Bitcoin stuff, because the first stream I ever did was on Bitcoin. If you want to know my stance on Bitcoin, watch that. I was talking about how there is a real Bitcoin religion. And towards the end of it, I think I got into a little bit about how I was involved with there was a Bitcoin civil war that happened in like 2013 or something that I was very heavily invested in. So I shared some of my thoughts on that. One more, guys. One more quick one here. This is from a non-Twitter user. He's asking, he said, I appreciate your content, your Substack articles. Do you have any pointers for smaller, casual, not trying to bite your style or anything considered? So I think he's up and coming Orthodox content creator, it sounds like, and he's asking for tips. This is hard for me to give advice on, because this has a lot to do with timing. A large reason why my Substack grew was just simply I started at the right time. I started when there was not really that many Orthodox publications. There was like maybe a handful of them. I think actually World War Now it probably still is the biggest Orthodox publication on there at the time, if I'm not mistaken. And so I came along at a pretty opportunistic time, and it just worked out for me really well, because I think I was just one of the default Orthodox publications that people subscribed to as the platform was starting to grow. And a similar thing happened with Twitter, because I started, I was posting about conspiracies and writing threads and stuff like that. Like threads I don't even think people engage with threads anymore. So like, I can tell you how, like the tips I might give you are like based on what I did, and that's not applicable anymore. So, right now it's like, it's getting pretty saturated with even with like niche something as niche as orthodoxy, it's like pretty saturated now, especially on YouTube. And so I would say find a pretty unique angle. I think of, so I just saw this just now off the top of my head. You guys know Rasputin Archive? I had him on as a guest. We talked about Rasputin, all this, slander about him and kind of like the real history of Rasputin. He did his first he posted his first publication on Substack and it took off. He got like over 100 likes on it, huge engagement. And like, that's pretty good on Substack. And, it was because and so you look at something like that, you look at a piece of content like that and start examining, why did this take off? How did he title it? What is it about it that stood out? And it's usually the same thing. It's like something where you're challenging the norm, right? That stuff does really well. So you have to think about how can I do that within this niche? I guess, reposting other people's content always works to some degree. But you really want to do your own original stuff. Like, even if it's like you saw someone else post something like a video or whatever, you want to insert some kind of unique commentary into it. So like, even if it's already gone viral, like you could make it go viral again by just inserting your own unique perspective on it. And that's why, it's important to like get your information from a somewhat neutral source and not be over consuming on Twitter, because a lot of that stuff is coming to you packaged with an opinion. And so, you want to be able to develop your own thoughts and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, like how to grow, like it depends what platform, like it's hard to give general advice on this. It really depends what platform. But generally, you do want to like kind of orthodoxy is still a good niche to start out growing in. But I would say, depending which platform, expect a cap in your growth, unless you are appealing to people outside of the Orthodox echo chamber. You have to kind of start to get the attention of other groups, right? So for me, it was like the conspiracy people. I started J-posting quite a lot because this was like before the Kanye awakening or whatever, where there was just like this mass, like it was actually kind of crazy. Like there was this what they call it, the noticing, right? It was like before the noticing. And then like during that time, I like took off. So it's like, you also want to consider who you're targeting, and like, you're bringing those people into your community. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that helps, but it probably doesn't. I would need more details. Anyway, do we have anyone on Discord here? Let me just check. I've just been yapping. I'm going to open it up on Discord if anyone wants to join. Oh, we got Ryan in here. What's up? Are you there? You've been patiently waiting as I yap here. But yeah, if you wanted to chime in, you can just unmute, but unmute, dude. Thank you for, oh wow, fat 49.99. Are the alert? I'm not even getting the alerts, guys. What's going on tonight? I'm not even getting donation alerts. You didn't get to see the gem chud, but thank you for the $50 gem from I Ask Dumb Questions. Epic support for the channel. Always appreciated. Thank you, brother. Late, but glad to be here. Always enjoys the streams, bro. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate all your generous support holding the channel down here.
Shout outs, I Ask Dumb Questions.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, brother.
I'm like in between chores. I didn't know. I was like listening on my phone across the room.
Oh, cool. I hope the audience can hear you. I think they should be able to. Let me just check here. Yeah, I think they can. Yeah, did you want to comment on anything?
I was gonna ask, what What was the technical difficulty with Nick and Matt the other
Oh
day?
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You getting
So
to talk to him for 2 hours before everybody else gets to hear anything.
it was not anything that if there was any worthwhile discussion that was going on during that time, I would have at least edited it into the upload. It was super frustrating because it was so hard to get those two on. For those who don't know, I'm talking about Matu Pajot and Nick Hinton, the recent upload I did where we talked for an hour. That should have been a 2-hour conversation, but for the first hour, the difficulty was that Nick had to phone in. He didn't have internet access, so he had to phone in, and I had to patch his phone through to the meeting space that we were in with that I and Matu were in. And it was just driving me crazy. I was like losing my mind because I was like, this is such a rare opportunity to get both these guys on at the same time. Like they both live off grid. And I have them here and I'm just like for an hour, I'm just like making all these, I'm like grunting and stuff, like just getting all frustrated with the sound. And so basically what happened was Nick they could both hear me, but they couldn't hear each other. So it was super frustrating. I was having to like relay what they were saying to each other. And basically the only way it worked was like Nick had to use his data, I guess, for his cell network. And he was able to, I think we used Google Meet or something, but yeah, that won't have, like I told them, I was like, all right, now we know like this works. So that's not going to happen again. I was so mad because it was such a waste of time. So yeah, sorry guys, but that should have been a 2-hour conversation. But I think we have a plan to do a part 2 of that.
Yeah, that'll be really enjoyable. Did you get to finish the thread? That thing was pretty good. The thread he had posted the other day.
What thread?
Nick had done like a 30-post thread.
Oh yeah, I didn't read the whole thing, but he's a great writer. Yeah, I was reading I did read a good chunk of it. He has such an interesting testimony. Yeah, I need to finish that. Someone's got something playing in the background. Maybe your audio's too loud on the if you're watching on YouTube.
No, it's Wednesday, Patch Wednesday, so I turn it down. Sorry. That's why I was keeping it muted. Forgive me.
Oh no, you're good. Let me see here. Oh, someone said, what is this? Anthony made a special appearance on Alex Soren. Oh yeah. I never know unless you guys tell me, because a lot of those guys, they stream so many hours that like if I happen to tune in for a little bit, it's like you can never know like what if something you talked about is being mentioned. So thank you for letting me know.
You don't enjoy watching 5-hour slop streams?
I don't have, like, no matter how interesting and engaging it is, I just don't have the time to like, I enjoy
clips and stuff.
Yeah. If there's anything important, I'll see it, that's what I think. If there's like something important worth knowing, that I missed, someone will post it. So, if you guys wanted to join, I think is this paid sub only? I can't I think it is. So if you're a paid sub on Substack, you can join here on Discord. Link is in the description. Maybe I'll open it up to everyone if we want to get interesting here. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, if you're listening in, you're on Discord, or you're not on Discord, you can click the link in the description, join, and maybe we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll open it up to everyone. We'll see. But did you get a chance to? You were listening in yesterday with DPH, right?
Me or Ron?
Yeah.
Sorry, me or Ron?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you.
Of course
Yeah.
Yeah. I always enjoy your guys' schizo streams.
Yeah. Yeah, I was glad he wanted to talk about that, because I was like fresh on my mind. I was writing about it, and it inspired me to like finish that article I just published, because I had a draft that I was sitting on for like a month, and I was like, I really don't like how I was going in so many directions. So I just decided to focus on the dead internet, because it's super interesting how, like, I don't know, some of the stats here, that I think I might have mentioned some of these on the stream, but
You did the brain drain article, and it's funny. I had found that brain drain article. Actually, there's a book that's the one that I had referenced, "The Angelic Life: A Vision of Orthodox Monasticism."
Yeah.
And Ethanite Audio did an excerpt of that and posted that in the chat. We'll tag you, but it's really good, actually. And
cool.
That's what I thought you were referencing. I didn't know that you pulled the article from just the ether.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I remember when I posted that, it was like a screenshot of the academic article about the brain drain hypothesis, it's called. And the caption I posted was like, there's a, I don't know, it was a while ago, I don't remember exactly what I said. It was something like, there's an academic study that proves that the closer your smartphone is to you, the more retarded you get. And Sam Hyde retweeted it. Like, I was like, yes, I got the Sam Hyde retweet.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, because in the book, the guy that wrote it, he's like, I referenced a lot of different online stuff, and I'm not saying online is completely bad. I was able to
sorry. They're saying there's an echo. Wait, one sec, guys. Yeah, again, a little rusty on this first time streaming with this setup, so forgive me. They're saying there's an echo from you guys.
I can drop. Sorry about that.
No. It's not. It's on my end. It's something with how it's coming through on the stream. You're fine. Let me see if I can fix it. I think yeah. I know what it is. Okay, I know what it is. I actually don't know if I can fix this on the spot, but I don't know. Is it bad, chat? If it's bad, I'll just maybe call it on Discord. I don't know. Let me see if I can just fix it real quick. Let's play back. I thought I tested all this stuff, man. Things always go haywire once you go live. I don't know. You guys can keep talking. I'll figure it out. Yeah, but anyway, so some of the stuff I didn't even mention. Traffic from AI agents alone jumped from 7,851% over the course of 1 year. That's like think about what that looks like on a growth curve chart. 7,850. That's just a wall. That's not a curve at all. It's just like there's a wall that goes straight up. That's all infinite bot infestation on the internet. And so basically, this report is saying that the amount of bots versus internet users is being outpaced. They're outpacing human users by 8 times. And that is growing exponentially. Like, there's literally not enough humans to even catch up to the great replacement of bots. It's literally there's a great replacement on the internet.
I think part of it is almost on purpose, like the robocall spams and everything, and then as well as online. Like when I was working for the digital ID company, that was one of the things I was talking about. Oh, we should put certificates on AI, so that way, like with the different API calls, so it could like fail open to read but not be able to write. Yeah. And that way you could kind of track each of the AI that way. And just as looking at it over time, it was like, oh, we can't do that. We have to just identify all humans, which is literally what they're doing, and have that tied to the AI. So you'll be tracked, and then the AIs you create, like the different agents and stuff, they'll be tracked and licensed under you. But it's kind of funny because if you're using your biometrics to access your stuff, eventually that gets cracked. Huh. And then they'll say, oh, okay, well, it'll be like, hey, have this certificate in a chip on you, and then eventually in you as the fail-safe. So that's the end goal of that.
Oh, I hear the echo now. Sorry.
That's that. And,
Oh, it's not that bad, guys. It's just like, it's not that bad. It's not bad, chat, right? Is it? Can we get past the slight echo? I don't know. Let me know if people are complaining. I'll cut it. I'm not gonna do what I did with Matu and Nick and I would have been like sweating if that was live. I'm so glad I didn't stream that. That would have been a nightmare if I was like live. If I went live with those guys and like we were doing that for the first hour, I would have just been like, I would have probably rage quit. Yeah, they're saying it's all right. Okay. There's theorizing womb facilities, whether all the sterilizing by products and sedentary lifestyles they've surrounded us with was on purpose. They'll eventually have the power of who gets to breed.
Yeah, the whole artificial womb projects.
Yeah.
That is, yep. Funny enough, a lot of that is due to like the trans stuff.
Really?
You know, being able to test on people's bodies, and then also the men being like, oh, I want to be able to, have children as well, and then doing the artificial wombs, and then later on sex bots that you can have kids with, and it's a mess.
Well, yeah, I actually admittedly haven't done a deep look into that. I've heard people mention the artificial womb stuff, but I don't know I'm not sure how deep that goes.
Well, I mean, it was even in the Epstein files with what was that the princess that was talking about. Eventually, they won't be able to have, people won't be able to have babies, and we'll have control that way through the artificial wombs and being able to create kids.
Oh, here, what's this?
Exactly.
German scientists developing world's first artificial womb facility. Oh, this, Lord have mercy. This is so demonic. Decline in birth rates could lead to a replacement level too low for this. Yes, this is all population control, obviously.
Yep. Which, I mean, has been in how much media for years. I mean, Children of Men, X-Files, all the programs constantly placing out for people to view. But I think that the reason why is obviously if you point that out, then like, oh, okay, you're just a schizo that watches movies or something.
Oh, I forgot about this. Did you guys see this here? A cardinal crowns St. Agatha's reliquary in Catena ceremony sparks Catholic Protestant clashes. So all the prots are, once again, just being reminded that the Catholics do, sometimes pretty startling relic rituals. And they're all like, seems like they're just finding out about this for the first time. And
yeah, I saw Jay in that.
Yeah. I mean, it's more like what they're doing with the reliquary that's a little bit extra, but it's not like they're like, oh, he kissed the skull, like he kissed the relic. It's like, yeah, that's we've kind of been doing that for like 1,000 years longer than your whole religion has existed. So I don't know why you're acting like this is something surprising. They're all, and it's funny, like the replies is like they're not even consistent with what they're saying about it. So like some people are saying this guy's saying it's idolatry. And then some people are saying it's necromancy. Some are saying, I saw one guy say it's necrophilia, which like, I don't think you know what that means. And then some people are saying it's, idolatry. What was the other one? Paganism. Yeah, of course, it's just paganism. Like anything I don't understand is paganism. Even though it was the pagans were actually preventing the Christian veneration of relics. Like that's the thing. These people are so retarded. You can't like just ask them which pagan ritual does this. Oh, it's pagan. What pagan ritual? And I actually mentioned I posted something about this in a reply. I got baited into a prot slop reply. This one here. So this is one of these Lizzie accounts. There's multiple Lizzies that are, infamous prot slot posters. And she said, Christians don't bow before created things like this. This is pagan. And then I said, insane self-owned pagans did ritual prayer circles and beat drums during their worship ceremonies like evangelicals do. By your own logic, your 500-year-old religion is also practicing paganism. Because it's like, are we just saying, is this literally the argument that like mustache men drank water? So drinking water is, if you drink water, you're a Nazi. It's like literally that same line of reasoning. Like pagans did this, so when Christians do it, it's pagan.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Nazi meme with Hitler sliding down everyone I don't like is a Nazi.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
everything I don't understand is
pagan. Yeah, anything that's not evangelical American worship is pagan. Like these people never call out like when there's some kind of like insane, like the millions of insane, like like the stuff that, what's that account? Protestia, like
they post some good stuff.
Yeah, they do, but they're also, so I don't know if people know this, but this Protestia account, unironically, is they're independent. They're not. I don't think they're independent fundamentalist Baptists. I think they're Southern Baptists, because I remember when the Southern Baptist Convention was going on, whoever runs this account, he was like super invested in it. Like he was getting all emotional about stuff. So I'm pretty sure that they're Southern Baptists. So like, they'll occasionally post, whether it's accidental or not, like some like based thing that like an Orthodox clip. But like, I don't know how they're exposed to this stuff day in and day out and they remain Protestant. That's that I would not be able to explain. But yeah, like these people never comment. Like these people that call the stuff that we do, these ancient practices, pagan, like they never call out the pagan stuff happening, whether it's pagan or just like otherwise. They never really call out like, ecumenism or whatever.
I guess I should have clarified unintentionally based.
Yeah, unintentionally based. Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, look at this wacky stuff. What is this? This is this is supposed to be a church. It's just like a communist gathering or something. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. There's not much to comment on this thing because it's just whatever. Everyone commented on this already. Jeff Durbin, gross. Thank God for the Reformation. Yeah. Well, the Reformation had nothing to do with this, first of all. And are you trying to say like the Reformation didn't lead to worse things than kind of an extreme relic veneration? Yeah, like this. Yeah. Here's the, yeah. Thank God for the Reformation. You got this. You got female lesbian pastors. So anyway, I don't know. It's just like, I'm actually kind of tired of talking about this stuff. Oh yeah, there was something, let me see here. I found this here. I think someone, I don't remember who posted this, but is it switching over? Okay, here we go. There's a video about what the AI companies were doing with the books. I don't know if you guys heard about this. So the books that they're buying, scanning all these rare books and then destroying them. And they're explaining. This is a Forbes video, came out yesterday, explaining why they're doing this. And we talked about this on the stream with DPH yesterday.
Historians and bibliophiles have launched an online war against tech giants and artificial intelligence developers after an increasing mountain of evidence shows they're buying rare and antique books en masse and feeding them to large language models, only to slice off their spines and destroy the original print copies in the process. Documents made public in a lawsuit from authors against Anthropic earlier this year revealed the company had bought millions of physical books, hired contractors to slice their bindings off, fed the pages into high-speed scanners, and then shredded the originals in a venture called Project Panama. Reporting then revealed a historic spike in the sale of physical books printed before 2022, and booksellers began voicing their suspicions that AI companies were secretly their big buyers. Book lovers and AI skeptics called it evil incarnate and rallied against the practice. But more reporting from 404 Media and others has revealed it's not just physical bestsellers hitting the chopping block, but rare, antique, and out-of-print books that may not be otherwise preserved. 404, a media company founded by tech journalists, on Monday published the results of an investigation in which an unnamed rare bookseller who'd received an order for almost 1,000 physical copies allowed reporters to place an Apple AirTag inside one of the books. The company tracked the package from California to Milwaukee, Colorado Springs, and ultimately an Amazon-owned warehouse coded by the company as VGT3. The entrance to the building boasts a logo of a Tyrannosaurus Rex preparing to eat an open book, 404 Media said.
That's crazy.
And employees report nice jobs where, quote, all we do is scan books all day. The investigation has revealed how major tech giants are operating dedicated industrial.
See, they're creating human jobs in the AI industry. You can be a book scanner, scan rare books, and then destroy them. That's the human work that their human jobs are making.
That's actually literally the 1984 guy.
Yeah. Oh no, it's more like was it Fahrenheit? What's that book? I never read that book. That Ray Bradbury.
451.
451. Yeah.
Facilities.
Yeah, but literally
to train.
in Orwell's 1984, the guy's like at the computer desk rewriting the book and then tossing the paper into the trash.
Yeah.
Or into the fire, actually. I think it's a fire.
Large language AI models. For more on this story, check out the article.
Yeah, so I mentioned, I don't think he mentioned this, but I mean, I guess because you can't prove it, but I suspect what's going on here is also just, it's just the monopolization of information. Like that's what's occurring is like, there's now a scramble to acquire all these rare books and feed them to the LLM and then destroy it, because then the LLM is has exclusive information that can't be found anywhere else. I think that's something that's going on that is pretty obvious, but you'd have to I'm not going to do a $300,000 debate on that, because I wouldn't be able to provide positive evidence that that's happening. But I suspect that's my source is it feels like that's what's happening. And I feel like my feelings regarding some kind of conspiratorial thing are valid, and they should be validated because I feel that way. But literally though,
that's our truth.
But
okay.
yeah, but actually it just feels, it feels like that's what's going on. And it seems like that's, seems like it feels like it. And you want to debate it. I don't know why you debate that, but
I based it off that 1980s movie where they made a robot and the robot's like, more data, and it just eats all the books.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not even surprising. I feel like that's a non-controversial take to say it's like they're clearly just destroying these books because they're rare and they've acquired them and they're feeding them to the LLM, and then by destroying them, they're monopolizing that information. That's like business, man. I don't know. That's not really out there.
Like old school esoteric priestcraft, like.
Yeah, they're actually
all the information. Like you will only know what you've been served.
Yes. So. Now you have to consult this AI oracle to receive this rare knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. This has been going on for like thousands of years. This is like the whole war over guarded esoterica versus this is like similar to what happened with the printing press. Really, this is kind of like what I cover in my work, where you saw at the onset of the printing press, there was an information war over like it happened to be over the dissemination of Jewish esoterica. So it's like the the Kabbalah, the Zohar, Talmud, and it was, it was like, do we allow this to be distributed throughout Europe, all this anti-Christian literature? And there was a whole war. It's some historians call it the Battle of the Books. I've talked about this before, I think pretty recently on the stream. And it's going to be in my book and article when I publish it. But it was a war versus Johann Reuchlin, who was like the main figure who systematized Christian Kabbalah. Before him, it was Pico, but then Reuchlin took it to the next level. And he was a renowned Hebraist and Catholic humanist. And there was basically an information war between him and this guy, Johann Pfefferkorn, his name was. Pfefferkorn was a converso. He was a baptized Jew, and he was like hell bent to expose all of the blasphemous stuff that was in the Talmud. And so the whole war, like this was before this was what led into the Reformation. And so you have scholars like Louis Newman, who and what's the other one? Graetz, I forget his first name. Heinrich Graetz wrote a whole book on this, about how this is what, like, Heinrich Graetz, his whole take was like, this is what made the Reformation possible. This whole information war that happened, the Battle of the Books, over the dissemination of the Talmud and the Zohar. And so basically that Reuchlin's side won. Reuchlin won the war, and they decided to, that there was nothing, they decided there was nothing blasphemous in the Talmud and the Zohar. These were, humanist Catholics that deemed it okay to publish, and the rest is history, I guess. But so yeah, I mean, book burnings are just there's. I might write an article on this because it's really interesting. There is actually like this occult significance to, or I don't want to say occult. It's more of like an esoteric, symbolic significance to book burning, because we see book burnings in the New Testament. The book burning at Ephesus, there's a story about St. Paul and St. Silas when they were on their mission to Ephesus. Ephesus was like full of all this syncretism. There was people doing like Jewish magic combined with like, some form of like pagan mysticism, like some kind of Neoplatonist stuff. And I mean, just a culmination of all like Chaldean mysticism, like just, all this same syncretic combination of these mystery religions that has been going on for a long time. And so anyway, they witnessed this miracle of I think it was the sons of Sceva, they're called in the New Testament. Because there was all these like it's actually a pretty crazy story. Like when I read this recently, I was like, how did I grow up reading the Bible and I never really like made sense of this story? But like there was all these, Ephesus was crazy. Like there was all these Jews that were going around LARPing as Christian exorcists and going into houses and like doing fake exorcisms, and they were doing it in the name of Christ and in the name of St. Paul. But they were Jews, like they weren't Christians. And so there's this miracle where all these demons literally beat up a group of these guys and they ran out of the house naked. And then St. Paul goes in and casts them out, and everyone's amazed. And so there's this massive book burning. All of these magicians in Ephesus all gather all of their occult books and throw them into this huge bonfire. And it tells you this is in Acts, I think Acts 19.
That's so stupid, right?
It tells you the value of all the books. It says that the value, ironically, the value of today's currency is $6 million. I'm not lying. You can go and look it up. It happens to be 6 million, but regardless of it,
to Guerrillion.
Yeah. No, it's actually like 700. It's actually 275,000, somewhere around there. It seems a little high. No, but actually, you know, if it's even roughly in that neighborhood, the point is it's millions of dollars worth of books that they burn, or scrolls rather, you know. But I mean, it just goes back way, you know, this has been going on for millennia. But it also, yeah. So you see this happen like throughout the transmission of esoterica in the West. There's like this kind of you know, I guess dialectic of censoring esoterica, whether it's to like safeguard it, like to keep it esoteric, or because it should not, like from a Christian perspective, it should not be spread. It should not be made exoteric. Like it shouldn't be published to the masses, kind of thing. And so, yeah, I don't know. Just a side note there. What's going on in the
Cake in a
chat?
Cup says they lost control of the web and they're rectifying it in regards to these companies buying these books and destroying
Who said
them.
that?
Cake in a Cup.
Oh, in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, books, radio, TV, they all control this. Not talking about for the last 3,000 years. They lost control of the web and they're rectified. Yeah, well, I mean, this is like, in a sense, this is the new web.
Yeah.
Like, this is what has taken over the web, and this is the new web now. It's AI. The web is AI. And so these frontier LLMs effectively own and operate the internet now. The whole infrastructure of the web is built on this now. And it's actually, this is what I talk about in the article. It's like, it's more fragile than it's ever been. Even though it appears like on the surface, because there's like things look nicer, like things are going smoother, like develop the updates and progress in the development of web technology, like all this stuff is getting more advanced. And so we get fooled into thinking that because it's getting more advanced, it's more stable, and it's actually the opposite, because the infrastructure it's built on is extremely fragile. And so at this point, you know, even if the web isn't going anywhere, it's like we're basically like an AI market crash away from, you know, a massive crash away from like something going haywire on the greater scale of the internet, because it's, you know, again, it's kind of like after 30 years of the internet's exist, or, you know, at least to the public, the internet's existence, it has gotten weaker. And just now, this whole industry is like coming in from underneath the web and like building this new infrastructure that is supporting it. And it's all being done by bots. Everything's vibe coded now. Like there was another statistic that I went over yesterday. Let me see if I can find it here. It was, no, did I close it? Oh.
Not my heckin' tabs.
Yeah. It was about new websites, how it may or may not be in here, actually. I don't know. But anyway, it's something like 75% of new websites that are created between 2025 and this year are AI. Like a human didn't even make the websites. So, and that number, of course, all these numbers are growing exponentially. So like by next year, like this stuff is happening so fast. I really think that next year is going to be a monumental shift in the digital age. Like there's going to be I mean, why are all these, like, why is this their concerted effort on a global scale to roll out digital IDs or age verification, as they're calling them, on the operating system level? You have the World Economic Forum talking about this. You have the EU, right? They're trying to implement these digital IDs in the EU. It's like, why is this all coordinated? Why are these US states doing it? It seems very much like COVID vibes, you know. Again, I'm using vibes and feelings here, but we're a vibes and feelings kind of channel, I think. So if you want to wait for like sources on that, it's going to be too late. So I don't know what to tell you, but so if you want to source bro me on this stuff, good luck. I can give you this data though. You can just simply look at the data and see that this is growing exponentially. These were all, this is all academic research and statistics from like massive online organizations that have been collecting data on the web for, 20 years or something, right? So it's like, this is all valid information. And I think, honestly, this is one of those things that the data just confirms what we're experiencing and what we know. Like, we all experience that. It seems like about half of the internet is fake and gay. And so it's like, actually, in some cases, it's way more than that.
Yeah, it's just entirely manufactured. Like no human input or interaction. Like just straight up.
Well,
fake.
I should pull up
Just
the
false.
original. I should pull this up. You guys might. This might be fun to look at. This is the. We don't know the origins of dead internet theory, but a lot of people point to this post on Agora Road by Illuminati Pirate, the username Illuminati Pirate. For those who don't know, this is just basically like an old school, 90s style. Well, I guess 4chan is 90s style too, but yeah, it's got more of the 90s web aesthetic. Message board, and this was back in 2021. And the more conspiratorial part of this is really interesting because like all the data has been the data side of this confirmed that this guy was onto something, because he basically said that there's going to come a time very soon where there's going to be more bots on the internet than humans. And so he was right about that became, that was verified last year with that bad bot report. And so the conspiratorial side of this is that he says that this is actually this coordinated effort. And he says, let me make this bigger. And I found this part really interesting. Where is it? Is this even the post? Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. My last suspicion is easier to take in. And so that's what I was just saying, that there's going to be more bots than humans. He says, I have a feeling we're in a strange kind of civil war, an internal one. I think Zuckerberg and other tech guys were all on 4chan as anons at some point, maybe even now. They drew from the same well as us, but went their own direction. Roughly in 2016 or early 2017, I am absolutely certain this was an AI of some sorts. Now you're thinking, where I am too, Anon. Here's the timeline as best as I can see it. So he says 2004, DARPA's LifeLog project was canceled, and then Facebook came into being soon after.
No, not soon after. The same day.
The same,
There's a Wired-
really, the
there's a
same
Wired
day.
article from the same day. Correct.
Really?
Yeah, if you look up the Wired article on it, it comes out February
On what?
4th, 2000.
On Facebook's launch?
Still on track.
No, there's a Wired article about DARPA shutting down LifeLog project.
I think still 9. There's a couple that I want
I'm hearing like some audio in the background.
Sorry, I'm working.
to.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
got
all
it.
right.
I keep having to lower the audio, so just in case. So you can't hear, and then every time I mute, I turn it back up.
So this would have been 2004.
Yep, February 4th, I think.
Oh, here, Pentagon kills LifeLog project.
Yep,
Let's
and
see, does it
then-
mention Facebook? No, it doesn't mention Facebook
no, it
here.
doesn't. Just look at Facebook on Wikipedia. For its
Oh,
launch
okay.
day.
All right. So this was February 4th, 2004.
Mhm.
Facebook.
But that was circulating on 4chan a while back when I was super.
February 4th, 2004. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and
Wow.
didactic memory, bro.
This is crazy.
But that's what I was saying the other day when you guys were doing the DPH stream.
That's wild. That I'm having my mind blown live right now because it says right here the Pentagon canceled its LifeLog project, an ambitious effort to build a database tracking a person's entire existence.
Mhm.
Okay. And then the same day Facebook launches.
Yep. Yeah. So a lot of the different stuff, and then Facebook, if you look at its funding with like NQTEL, which is just CIA hedge funds, what they'll do is they'll take government projects and they'll make them corporate, so that way you can't FOIA them. That's a very common thing. And what I was saying during the DPH stream was around 2010ish, Facebook enabled the ability for you to download your entire profile. And they did that because people were selling off their profiles. Also, people that were deceased and no longer using them, Facebook sold off those profiles to data owners, and they would use that for AI. And it wasn't just Facebook, it was lots of different forums. I remember there was one forum, this guy was talking with a bot, or he didn't realize it was a bot until he would mess with the letters to the point like a lowercase, like a uppercase I versus a lowercase L, just to kind of see if they would pick up on it. And the bots picked up on it, but that was how he realized. Or you would basically go to a dead forum and then start an argument about something specific, because funny enough, the IDF actually does have web crawlers, and they've got this system that if something pops up, it'll actually get routed to somebody's phone, and there's like a pool of different sites that they can jump in with an account that's already there and start interfacing with people and arguing and whatnot. Yeah, and that's early 2010s. So.
Wow. So he says, 2004 to 2012, the NSA picked up DARPA's project under the Total Informational Awareness Project. And don't forget, DARPA created the World Wide Web was created, the DARPA created the internet, and then the web that's built on top of the internet was created by CERN. So, it, like I said this in the article, but you could speculate that it was a psyop all along, and that kind of, like, when you see this happening, this is unfolding, like as we speak, it seems at least more plausible that that may be the case. Like, again, not something you're going to be able to confirm, like, oh, this was all like planned or whatever, but again, I'm going to appeal to my feelings there. Feels like that's what's happening. So NSA picked up DARPA's project under the Total Informational Awareness Project 2012. Smith-Mundt Modernization Act gives the U.S. government full legal authority to use propaganda against its own populace, undoing rules put into place after Operation Mockingbird's discovery and the Church Committee. And then you get in 2012 to 2016, shit tons of DARPA and NSA contracts were given to Google, Facebook, and Amazon. We know that from the WikiLeaks. 2016 leaked memos dating back to 2016, found in 2018 of Google's Selfish Ledger project. There's links to all this stuff. And then 2016, Google released a bunch of neuro-linguistic machine learning programs in 2016. So basically what he's arguing is that this was the plan all along, was to have this like infinite bot takeover of the internet. And you might be wondering, like, what does this do to the populace? We talked about this on DPH's stream, where there's actually studies on this too. So you can back this up with studies if you were a study bro. Again, another thing we just experience, we know just intuitively that the fact that over half the internet now is fake and gay and it's all bots. What that does, or what it has done over time rather, it has caused the human side of the internet, so it's human users, to start behaving like bots and to behave that way more and more as there's an increase of bot content and bot activity.
Which is the point of Reddit.
Yeah.
And that's why Ghislaine was set up.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Reddit is a personality, because it's like the users of Reddit have basically been shaped by the cultural ethos of that platform. So it's like that is bot behavior, is that you join a platform and you take over it, you take over this like digital space as a personality. And so that's what's been going on largely, like to a larger scale with the internet itself. So it's like we're all being programmed into, you know, they're not Redditors, but just some kind of like what I mean, it's all algorithmic, right? So it shapes you based on, like, it's like a Black Mirror, like shapes you based on like what you put into it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll feed you like the necessary, like approved consensus of how to feel.
Right.
And
Because it knows how you want to feel.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying about this whole thing where we're seeing now, you know, conspiracy discourse being reduced to, you know, a Black pregnant woman and a guy that goes on whatever and shouts at e-whores. Like this is, and it's like started this these factions now where it's like, if you believe there was a conspiracy whatsoever, and I'm using this as an example because it's what's in everyone's mind, but this I'm talking about on a broader scale for any conspiracy. This is kind of the precedence that is being set, is that there's like, because of all the cults of personality, it's you're just like on that side. So like you're going to be associated with that. I mean, this was going on with like Nick Fuentes too. It's like, if you believe this thing that this really loud person also believes, you're like part of that crew. Like you're part of like that discourse and narrative and everything. You just get lumped into that. That's what like all these internet communities and stuff, I think, have done to people's thinking, is that they can't even think outside of like these cult of personalities. Like no one's like an individual thinker anymore. You know, everyone's looking for like, who is this person funded by? There's something, you know, because now no one's like no one's really listening to the networks and to these like corporations and organizations and stuff, because they're just not trustworthy, obviously. And so they look to these independent voices, and and now people are like sketched out over each individual influencer, because it's not as clear who's behind, if there is anyone behind them, like funding them or whatever. So it gets a little, it's a lot easier to manipulate people, I think, that way, because they're seemingly independent. It's like, oh, this is the voice of the people. Like this is just an average guy, you know, that got guy or girl. Just so I'm clear that I'm not talking about a specific, because I did this on I did this on DP. I was saying something similar on DPH yesterday, and I never mentioned names. I never mentioned Candace or Andrew or anyone else's name, because I wasn't even talking about that specifically. And I was just kind of talking like I am now in a general sense. And in the replies, there was all these people talking about Andrew and Candace. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, we didn't even mention that. Like, this is crazy. So like, this is how rabid people get over this stuff. Anyway, but
sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to show one more thing here. You can go off. I'm just going to find this.
I was just going to say, regarding the Reddit aspect, I think there was an article that came out where they were talking about specifically the moderators would get in a room and then they would craft a narrative for like consensus cracking and like see what was the craziest stuff that they could get people to agree with and go along with, just the social engineering of people. And then the other aspect is the joke about stuff being on Reddit first before it hits the media. That always reminded me of so BuzzFeed was hand in hand with CNN. Their employees would rotate between the companies.
Yeah.
And if CNN wanted to run something, but it was a little too spicy, they wouldn't touch it. They would have BuzzFeed run it, and that's why you had, you know, BuzzFeed breaking the Donald Trump piss thing, which was all those stuff actually came out of a 4chan thread, which is funny. All that data that was handed over. Yeah, I remember that exact thread too, where it was talking.
That's like how Facebook is the test bed for AI boomer slop.
Right.
Like all those cat what were they, like the AI cat soap opera videos?
Mm-hmm.
They bring hot videos, everything, bro.
And so
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, exactly. Like they have it's like these various social networks become test beds for certain kinds of propaganda to spread, and it seems organic.
Not just that, but also how people would respond. And that was one of the biggest things that I kind of noticed between 2015 and 2020 is they would test a theory or a narrative on 4chan and people would poke holes in it. And then they would kind of rewrite that. The shows would rewrite that and be like, oh, well, what about this? And then once that kind of got set in like clay, not so much, stone, then they would go to Reddit with it, and then they would go to other platforms, Facebook and whatnot. And then about a day later, it would be on the news. And it was just always trippy to me for like years. I lived at, it was like a bar, and I would be watching this go from 4chan to Reddit to the news, and then I would go downstairs to where the bar was, and it would be on the news, and I would just hear people talking.
Yeah.
Like
I've noticed that pipeline. I've noticed that before. That 4chan seems to be where everything actually breaks, and then it gets to like by the time we see it on X, it's like you already knew about it on 4chan for like a week. Sometimes, sometimes it's depends what it is, but like sometimes a few days, sometimes a week. I mean, if it's something like breaking news that like, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, everyone's seeing it at the same time. But, yeah. And so this guy says, where are we here? Oh, 2017 deepfake leaks start to become released. Yeah. Remember that? Like what happened with that? Did we just forget that deepfake technology is a thing? That's another thing. It's like, we just assume that it's all AI. It's like how much of what we're seeing is deepfakes? Because that was 2017. Deepfake started tricking everyone. And, here we are like almost 10 years later. This technology has been at least in the public consciousness for 10 years. And we just forgot, we just assume that it's like merged with AI or something. 2018 confirmed that for decades now, Reddit/YouTube, etc., vote and view counts are fake and completely manipulated. So this is an article in 2018 from New York Magazine, how much of the internet is fake. Turns out a lot of it actually. 2018, they were reporting on this. Like the fact that now we know now it's been verified that more than half of the internet is fake, and that's not national news. Like that's not being discussed. Like instead, we're all spurging over like everyone's just like obsessed with a debate that happened on the internet. Like that's all people care about. And again, it's not about this one thing. I'm saying this because it's the current thing, but it's like you can insert X current thing into this. It's like everyone's so involved and emotionally invested in the current thing that they don't even care. Like it's not even breaking news. Like no one's talking about how the internet is literally dying on, like we're on this platform that we're allowing to control our emotions and our lives and how we think and like what we're engaged with. That's dying. But like, who cares? I'm going to keep talking about this slop until I can't anymore, I guess. I don't know. People are just asleep, I guess. And this is a normie conspiracy. It's not even a conspiracy anymore, but this is like a normie thing. Like you're not super red pilled and stuff if you realize this. Like this, literally the CEO of Cloudflare tweeted out recently. He was like, when this report came out, he was like, oh, I thought this would happen in 2027, but I guess it happened a lot earlier than I expected. So like these people all knew that this was going to happen. It just happened sooner than they thought. So it's not, this isn't anything that crazy. It's just that it's actually happening and no one's talking about it. So this I thought was really crazy. There is a large-scale, deliberate effort to manipulate culture and discourse online and in wider culture by utilizing a system of bots and paid employees whose job is to produce content and respond to content online in order to further the agenda of those they are employed by. This is obvious. Again, don't need a source for this. Already, we've seen this in foreign nations influencing elections by manipulating advertising algorithms on social media in order to push specific candidates. As I see it is due to a positive feedback loop. I blame Facebook and Twitter. The internet is a vast way to get info, and info is what moves the mind. And the thing is, the mind likes recognition. When the likes were introduced without negative feedback, they created a copy feedback subconscious. They made it only so positive opinions be propagated, also accepted, and in its way negative opinions to be obsolete. And this is all just accelerated. He's noticing this in 2021. This is like, we're beyond this now. Now everyone is too cowardly to have an opinion, so they copy others they like. Ah, look at that. They are more likely to follow trends and say what others said. You can also see it with the paranoia of always wanting to listen to the experts. The fast feedback system of the net created a human obsession to be in with trends. Getting away from it makes it so you always feel like you are missing out. To play it safe in a trend is more easy as you can copy what is already accepted. Isn't that true?
This concept that you'll see like on like late night shows and stuff like that. It's like the things that those dudes make jokes about are like the safe opinions to have for people, like at the water fountain at work, you know what I mean? Things like that.
Well, and especially if you're in an echo chamber, like think about how this works in an echo chamber. You're in an echo chamber that's, let's say, dominated by a handful of influencers, which is very common. And again, just to be clear, because I know how people who might be tuned in will think that I'm talking about a specific kind of person or echo chamber. I'm not. This is like, you're missing the whole point if you're thinking about a specific thing. This applies to the whole internet. They're like, the thing is, when you're in these echo chambers and they're dominated by a handful of influencers who largely agree with each other, you're likely not going to push back against, like publicly push back against that echo chamber, because you're going to get ambushed. And so there's a fear that comes with it. And so there's also a compliance mechanism built into parroting the opinions that are popular throughout that echo chamber. So like, again, I'm not saying anything controversial here. Oh, thank you for the, oh, I got it working finally, even though looks like it's cut off, but thank you, bro. We got him on here. So
it's okay.
Yeah. Got exposed. People should learn how many articles have been wrote by AI for decades. AI has ran Twitter and Google for a while, which is why the higher level jobs are essentially being able to be able to lobotomize and trick the bots into understandings. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's so clear that this has been a plan. Like, we don't know how deep it goes, but it is like the other human half of the internet has been lobotomized by bots. People
just lobotomizing the humans.
Oh, the word bot is in lobotomize. Oh, just kidding. People have been getting psyoped by behavioral engineers that tuned AIs for people to take their narrative and thoughts from over a decade plus. Yeah. I like that. And the thing is, like, dude, the stuff you showed me with the, what's that guy's name? The Matrix, Matrix.
Robert Duncan.
Yeah. The Robert Duncan stuff. Yes. Like, yes. Yeah, when you get into the Robert Duncan stuff, this, like, what we're talking about here is like child's play. Like with what they've actually been doing for decades with all this, with all this like behavioral engineering, in regards to technology. I mean, even with like microwave, like it sounds nuts, but like microwaves too. Like this is like classic tinfoil hat stuff, but like, microwaves and, cell towers, all this stuff. Like this has just been going on. So he says that, creation of original content is how the internet used to work. Anonymous people were willing to express their opinions and try radical or experimental things. More truly original content, uninfluenced by bots or paid influencers, was created due to anonymity as protection against negative feedback. On the old internet, you could start anew every time you posted something. Yes, yeah, exactly. That's the internet I come from. That's where I was, that's where my childhood, or my teenage years rather, were molded, was the anonymous web. This is a big reason I'm a kind of anonymous person online still, even as a content creator, because it's like, this is how the internet used to be. It was like, you didn't know these people's faces, right? It was just posters like what you're seeing here. Who's this guy? His name is Illuminati Pirate. Who cares? We're just looking at his ideas. His ideas seem legit. That's all you need to know. This seems like a legit idea. You can kind of weigh it and, you know, develop your own opinion based on it. And it doesn't matter. There's no face behind it. There's no personality. You don't know what this guy's interests are, where he's coming from. And that's how the internet used to be. There was no influencers. It was just posting. And you like, every post was a burner account. Like, you just had, you know, you just posted into the void, and, you know, maybe sometimes people would engage, sometimes not. It was fun, man. It was so much more fun. He says, yeah, so he says, now add bots to this. Make it so an opinion be repeated more and more. They are faster than us, so the positive feedback makes it so we copy the bots, and anonymity can't do anything against it because we can't influence the bot we like. We can't influence the bot like we would a human. This is an easy weapon to manipulate people. So anyone with an agenda can use a bot. It's designed in a way compared to how clickbaits are made, and most won't read the content. This creates a TV-like propaganda where they aren't influenced by the user, and that puts bots at a great advantage over the over any other opinion because it won't change, and we are copying that. I believe Google is one of those that makes bots. After all, they work like a search engine where they get most accepted content first, and it's the same as doing an ad. Yeah, I mean, this is, again, not even controversial. Google's been operating this way for probably its entire existence. You know, this is one of the practical reasons to not use Google is, like, even for normie information you're trying to get, the top search results are paid. So it's just an ad platform now. Like, it's just all for making money, and it's not about, like, what's the most relevant information. It's about who paid the most money to show up at the top. This is what all of SEO is about. Now SEO is all bots. Like, SEO is dead. There's no, like, humans involved in doing SEO anymore. SEO is all bot generated. So he's right about this, that Google, in a sense, created the first, like, massive, like, bot generated operation with their search engine. And so here he's showing the YouTube channel, The Young Turks. I guess this is a description on one of their videos. It says a startup known as Narrative Science designed a program that writes human-like stories. Right now, it's used for sports articles, but it will eventually be used to write news and politics articles. Cenk Yogurt and Anna Kasparian discuss on The Young Turks. So this was back in 2011. Okay. And who is this Narrative Science? Narrative Science was founded in 2010 as a student project in the Intelligent Information Lab at Northwestern University. Jump started the NLG technology. And you can see here at the end of this description on Wikipedia, I think this isn't, I looked this up on Wikipedia, and I think they removed this information suspiciously. But it says Narrative Science has several investors, including SAP and In-Q-Tel, the investment arm of the Central Intelligence Agency. So right there, he's showing you the receipts that you have a startup called Narrative Science that we should find this video from the Young Turks and see what they were saying about it. But they're saying that it was like right now they're using this technology to write sports articles. So this is, 2011 AI slop we're talking about. They were using AI slop to write sports articles, and it will eventually be used to write news and politics articles. So they were planning in 2011 to make bot-generated political takes. So TLDR, the CIA owns the software that creates narratives and writes the news. This has been happening since at least 2010. Narrative Science was the name of one of the first companies to make this possible. It gets interesting when when you follow the money. Pick related. Huge funding from a company called InQtel, literally named after Q from James Bond. Wow. Wonder if there's anything AI related that shares that name. Conclusion, the key points of what we know, the consequences, and how we might respond. Internet may have slipped out of our control. Need to raise public awareness of this, which no one's doing. Possible solutions may be increased reliance on encrypted peer-to-peer communication software. There you go, guys. What was I saying? Or using less centralized networks, like the idea of a peer-to-peer internet or meshnet. What was I saying, guys? Like I'm just reading this now for the first time. There you go. You better get to work. Image boards and their Wild West attitude have allowed for the free exchange of ideas to flow more or less uninhibited, barring Janny's PDFs and getting banned, etc. As a result, conscious or otherwise, the cream of the crop of the content that originates here disseminates to the normies in a gradual, stratified way. The structure and internet culture of image boards has also made it difficult for traditional structures of power and influence to subvert effectively, which is why image boards are pretty much the only vestige of old web type content. So image boards being, what I built is not an image board. It's more of a text-based forum. You could put images on here, but it's not. Image board is more the 4chan style. I'm not a huge fan of image boards, but they are objectively better than what we have now, which is just algorithmic slop. So he says there's a pretty powerful here. Moreover, even if the majority of anons dismiss or call out bots or shills, it's inevitable that trolls or just low IQ anons will imitate their posts and mannerisms for attention, effectively doubling these efforts reach. There's a pretty powerful influence in us, which when we hear something huge that could change our view of everything, rejects it to protect ourselves. No one wants to have their whole worldview, which they've built a life upon, blown apart. One anon started up a text doc to compile information for those of you who would like to do some reading up. And here it is. I wonder if it's still there. Yeah, see? Okay, another thing we're experiencing in real time, why we need to be archiving more web content that might be important and in danger of being 404'd, like we just saw. So we don't know what this says. We don't have access to this anymore. And then here's what is this? My reply was generated. Okay, so I don't know what this is, but I guess just demonstrating fake internet. So there you go. That's the original post, what we just read there, that most people trace dead internet theory back to, was this Agora Road post by Illuminati Pirate. So, it had been talked about before this post. It's not like this was a totally original idea, but I think this is the only paper trail we have of this theory being drawn out in detail, and the earliest example of it. So January of 2021. InQtel is a CIA venture capital fund that is meant to make government projects move from civil infrastructure to public infrastructure. You can't write this, man. You can't even make this up. Thank you for the 10. Yeah, that's it. Like, this is how propaganda works in the internet age. Like, a lot of people, like, everyone knows that propaganda spreads on the internet, obviously. Like, that's not news to anyone, but it's like no one knows to the extent in which it spreads. and they think that because they're in these like seemingly organic, like, you know, grassroots movements and stuff online, and there's just influencers and stuff, that it's not propaganda, that they're like that they're immune to propaganda or something. And it's like, you're just like, you are the propaganda. Like you're helping to spread some kind of propaganda. It doesn't need to be political specifically. It's like propagandizing in the sense that it's turning people into NPCs, and not like we need to rethink what an NPC means. I mean, maybe we already kind of hold this view, but it's not like the 2016, you know, Wojak, Soyjak or whatever, right? It's not like the liberal, Soylent drinking, you know, gay Soyjak or whatever, right? It's like NPCs are people who behave like bots, and that is like happening within our communities, within, you know, just all across the internet. This bot-like behavior. I mean, basically, it's describing a human sycophant of a influencer. You're behaving like a bot, dude. You're just repeating what everyone else likes to hear and getting good boy points for your engagement.
I've got just because this is exactly how like a close relationship of mine like ended up, and I've like been able to maintain the relationship, but you know, through some serious effort of like you know, attempts to be graceful from my end, you know what I mean? It's like, and I got to speak with I've spoken with a couple of people about this, just that it's almost as if those people who have those behaviors and act those ways, like, and think those things, it's almost like they're potentially some of the most traumatized of us, and they're like, you know, they don't, who are we to judge in that sense, you know what I mean? Like of their sins, like their sins aren't for me
it's
to
almost
judge.
like mass automated pre-list.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, man.
And again, and like, you know, I'm not immune to this either. I'm not speaking like I'm above all this. Like the whole thing with
no.
yeah.
I know. And I wasn't. That's not what I was saying.
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I just like, it gets me emotional because like my friend is the Redditor. Like, you know what I mean? But I've got so much love for this person. It's just
like
hard
that,
not
but that's
to be
what
like, yo,
that's what I'm saying,
you're asleep, bro. I hate you now.
Yeah,
like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to think of this outside of Reddit. Obviously, everyone refers to like the Redditor as like the personification of a lobotomized NPC that basically was groomed into being that way from spending too much time on this platform. And what I'm saying is that applies to the entire internet, like every internet platform and community and everything. Like it's just a different type of persona. Like it's the same mechanism, and it just develops a different type of persona that these cult-like groups end up becoming, these NPC bot armies, basically. Like it's just like the most dehumanizing thing. It's really crazy. Like we think of like AI existing being dehumanizing, and we don't realize the scale in which, just by us being on the internet long before AI even was being discussed in everyday discourse, how much we've already been programmed to behave like bots.
Also, the fear reaction is a really good example. Would be the Soviets, with how the Bolsheviks had instituted the fear reaction to people. It kind of reminded me of it many years ago when I had shown my grandma like the 9/11 stuff. I guess she got super reactionary and pissed off, and I'd mentioned it to my uncle. And he's like, "Oh no, don't do that. I did that." And she went deleting everything on the computer and saying like, "Oh no, we can't have this. No. You're not allowed to see this kind of stuff." Just like deleting it. It's just, I think it was like a loose change documentary or something, just tame. But you know, that's a boomer reaction. It's not like she's on the internet, and this is, you know, 2 decades ago. So
yeah,
It's like pretty much a new religion, you know, like they made a new religion And they say, okay, we decide what is good, what is bad, basically. Pretty much. A new god.
Have you guys seen this thing about? I saw a video on this about how they're naming all the data centers after these like various names of demons in different cultures.
God bless. No.
I'm gonna see if I can find something on this.
Yeah, I did not see that, bro. Show that.
Of course it's some here. Okay, this is just one of the first things that came up. Of course it's some boomer evangelical end times prophecy website, but once in a while, broken clock type thing. Once in a while, these guys are on to something. What is this? It's AI slop on this post. What are you doing? Okay, I'm not going to read this. Is this the same thing? Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm not clicking the TikTok video, man. I don't know. Maybe this is a TikTok thing, but there's probably, like, I would not be surprised if this is, there's something to this. What's this here? Yeah, nothing here. I don't like, the thing is, I don't know what to search for. I mean, let's just find data center names and we could probably deduce what's, 25, okay. I don't, list of all data centers in the US. Here, we're on Reddit now, guys. Full circle. I don't know where I'm going to find something on this, but...
Anthony, I'm going to go finish these chores before I get
All
to
right,
bed.
man.
I'm going to continue listening
Cool.
the rest of the night. I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right. See you, man.
Have a good week, the rest of your week.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't like ready with this or something, but I heard that and it sounded like there's probably something to that. That they're naming them after these like ancient demons and stuff. Because I think I even remember seeing some data center names. I was like, huh. I mean, a lot of the AI technology is named after like these esoteric references, entities, things like that, like deities. So I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, and that's a good point, Octavian. Yeah, they're named after Greek gods, which are demons. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. There's not much more to this, but I didn't have anything else planned. I didn't know I was going to get into this dead internet stuff again, but I find this pretty fascinating. And again, no one's talking about this, man. I don't know why. I think I do know why, actually. And it's sad, but a lot of us are just, a lot of us are just too cooked from all of this that, we don't want to hear it. This is tough to learn about. It's a tough pill to swallow. That the place where we have so much fun and get entertained and get into all these debates and stuff and have it, we're so emotionally invested in what goes on in our little echo chambers, and that's all manufactured. It's like, who wants to hear that? But yeah, so that's the schizo post for today. Again, you can read my article on this where I actually do. And here's a great picture here. I love this picture. CERN, where the web was born. And there's Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the World Wide Web at CERN. And, I looked into this guy. I mean, I couldn't find anything. It doesn't seem like there's anything particularly nefarious about him. And he seemed, as far as I could tell, like he just genuinely wanted to create this free exchange of information that it started out as. And, you know, he kind of like had this vision of like, it was going to be this digital library of Alexandria on a planetary scale, he says. And, you know, now the closest thing we have to that, to anything like that, is the Internet Archive, which I talk about how the problem with the Internet Archive is the same thing that's happening to the internet on a broader scale, is that everything's being more and more centralized and weakening the infrastructure through centralization. And so the thing about the Internet Archive, it stores like, I don't know, like like close to, last I checked, it was like 1 trillion website, like web pages rather. Like their whole goal is to archive the entire internet. So it's like they apparently have the infrastructure and the servers to like actually do that to some degree. But the point is, they get attacked all the time by hackers. There was, I think even this year, there was like a good 2 months you couldn't even access the Internet Archive because they were recovering from this like cyber attack or something. They always are getting sued for like copyright infringement and stuff, censored, right? Same with Wikipedia. Wikipedia is already cooked. Like they just fired this one of the co-founders of Wikipedia because he thought that there should be more freedom of speech on there, and they fired him. So, you know, the more centralization, the weaker it's getting. And what's the, you know, how do you fix this? Can you fix it? I don't think you can fix the internet as it currently stands. I don't think there's any fixing the internet that we know. I think our options are to build a parallel internet, or like I said here, give it to the church. And that means to basically start over and start at the communications layer. We already have it's very cheap and easy to do to set up these mesh nodes everywhere. Like that guy, like that Illuminati pirate said in that post. He was saying like, this is what we need to do. I came to this conclusion before I even read that. I already built this whole thing before I even read that article. So, and I'm not the only one. Like, obviously there's everyone that's into mesh networking, they know this. So it's not like it's a big secret. But the thing is, like, no one's really doing this to help the church in an offline scenario. Like, how do monasteries communicate with each other in the internet age when the communications layer is compromised or goes down or something? We can't expect like monks to do this on their own. Well, we can help. Like, we can at least build like a blueprint or something and just start to localize ourselves. You don't need permission from anyone to do this. You don't need a blessing. Like you don't need a blessing to start growing your own food. It's just like, you can do it. You can literally just do this. It's permissionless, and you can start in your own house with a small node for like $20. In fact, I posted, there's plenty on here how to get started. If you go to the preparedness off-grid comms board. So this one's about Reticulum, which is one of the mesh networks. This channel is awesome because this guy is just like a master tinkerer, and he buys all these little R nodes, and like this device right here is pretty much, as far as I know, this is like one of the core things that you get, and it's literally like 15 to 20 bucks. It's really cheap. And you can buy like 3D printed cases for it so that it's you can hold it almost like a little walkie-talkie or something. It's got this antenna sticking out. I've got one on my desk right here. And then, it's got a bunch of resources here. So like, I'm still learning it. I'm not in the position to like teach people how to get set up with it. I'm still learning it myself. Shortwave radio, like stuff like this. Although shortwave, I think, depends on, the satellite, not the satellites, the existing radio networks and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But here's e-communications, EMCOM tools. There's a great channel called the Tech Prepper. This guy he got deep into off-grid communications and, building offline servers and stuff like that. Really interesting channel. He does live streams too. So, this is a good, in my opinion, this is maybe the most productive use of your time on the internet if you are experiencing some sense of urgency in what's going on with this infinite bot takeover of the internet, knowing that our time to be able to access this kind of content may be limited or more limited than we think. And so, this is a pretty good use. Like, this is kind of the whole point of this forum I built is like, hey, yeah, I know it's on the internet. Like all the dangers that I just was describing still apply to this website. It could go down. In fact, it did. The server went down the day I wanted to launch it. So I had to delay the launch. So it's like, it's not immune to any of this stuff. But the point is to create a space on the internet while we still have access to things and to have a more focused community that we're spending time intentionally with preparing for this kind of thing. So, we're all learning. We're sharing our knowledge. We're sharing resources. We're trying to share. I posted something here that, where is it? In the, here. So here's where we like share libraries, materials. I shared a 16 gigabyte fine art gallery. That is really, I mean, this isn't something that like maybe a bad example, because this is not something that like you would need this in an off-grid scenario. But the point is like, where are you going to find these high res painting? This is like over 6,000 paintings like this. Like you just go through this folder and it's like, you're in awe of all this artwork that has been digitized. You have to pay for a lot of this stuff, Like you have to pay to get access to even the digitized versions of these classic paintings. And this is again, 6,000 images like this. And I was like struggling a lot with like, how do I want to share stuff like this? Not even just images, but like, let's say I have a 20 gigabyte folder of patristic books. How do I share that online? I don't want to use Google Drive. Like that defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do. I'm not trying to use a centralized source. How do we share this in a decentralized way? Right now, I'm just using torrents. So like I shared a torrent and I'm just encouraging people to seed it. Maybe there's better ways to do this, but that's what this is for. It's like, let's talk about how we can do this better. And so imagine if we just did this, we built a network where we're sharing all of these resources, like large files that you can download entire libraries. And, you don't need to use Google or any of these cloud-based services that charge you for that kind of space. Like I think in most free versions of these cloud platforms, you can't even like this one gallery in itself is too big to even keep on a cloud site, so it's like, how do we share these large things? But anyway, stuff like how to create Zim files for these offline libraries. This is what I did here. This is what you're looking at here. This is my offline resource server of websites that I've archived and I can access offline. So I've got, look, the Orthodox America website, archived this whole thing. This is all offline. And I can share this on the forum and people can download it. And now they have an offline version of this Orthodox America website that it looks very old. And look, it says here, all material herein, copyright 1998 to 2006. So that means this stopped being maintained in 2006. And it was here, like this was built in 1998. You're looking at a 1998 website. And the older these sites look, the more in danger they are of being offline at some point in the near future, because who knows how this is being maintained and how this is still online. So that should be a good indicator of this, you should feel a sense of urgency for that. And it's not just like archive any old website. It's like useful old websites like this, Orthodox Christian Information Center, right? The Orthodox Wiki. I mean, I'm just getting started. I can't do this all on my own. This takes a lot of time. That's why I built this. It's like, we need more people to do this kind of work. I can't do this on my own. There's absolutely no way. You know, here, military medicine, right? It's like another old school website. It's just links to PDFs. These are all offline. Military medicine, right? And, you know, some tech stuff, but guide to anonymity. So some stuff you may not even need. It's like, who needs online anonymity and when there's no internet, right? But there's like huge libraries of these Zim files, they're called, where you can just download a ton of stuff. There's, I think I've got, yeah, this is Luke Smith's cooking website he made. He made a based recipe website because I think I remember seeing this video. He was talking about his frustration with recipe websites is that they're all riddled with ads. Like, you can't go on any recipe website and just it's all ad slop. Like, the whole website, it's got all these trackers and JavaScript running, you know, metrics on your traffic and your behavior and stuff. And it's like all this ads. And so this is just this is how the internet used to look. It was just information. It's like, that's what a recipe site should look like. Just give me the ingredients and the recipe. That's it. I don't need the ads and stuff. And he's got tons of, yeah, this is awesome. And you know, this is another collaborative thing he built with his community. I'm understanding Luke Smith more and more and why he doesn't do YouTube anymore. Cause like, he pretty much said all that needed to be said. And he gave us the tools that we needed to know about, to continue computing, with some level of anonymity and privacy and without dependence on the internet. And there's like really nothing more he probably needed to say in that regard. But yeah, so I mean, you get the idea, right? There's a ton of these. I'm not even showing where all the repositories where you can download all these different, here's another cooking site, right? So, you know, think of the possibilities. My vision is that I posted it in the projects. No, not this one. My vision is laid out here. Building an offline Orthodox knowledge server. So there's this Project Nomad you guys might have heard of. And this is an offline, like, survival server. And by server, it's like not the data center servers. It's like you can just buy a mini PC that is something you can like throw in a book bag and use solar power to get, you know, to get it powered on in, you know, anywhere pretty much. And like, so it's very low power. And so you can actually just power it with solar power, and then it has all this stuff on it. So like, maybe I'll just play this video.
The way things are going right now, let me ask you a question. If you lost the internet tomorrow, you know, not for an hour, but permanently, how are you going to look up medical information for grandma? How are you going to navigate without GPS? And how are you going to educate your kids? Most people don't have an answer for that, but now you do. This is Project Nomad. It's free, it's open source, and it's built right here at Crosstalk Solutions. Let's check it out.
A little goofy, but
now, I wanted to find a
whatever.
way to can do a lot better and complete self-contained.
This is what I was what you're seeing here is my hosted version of this. So like, it's the same. He's using Kiwix, what I use.
Library of knowledge, offline maps, and educational tools, all accessible from any device on your network through a web browser. Now, I do want to be clear about something right up front. This is a passion project of mine. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Project Nomad is 100% free and open source under the Apache AI assistant, maps.
So, and then this part of this is that it has a local LLM it's running, I think for information retrieval, which I'm okay with that, but I don't know if, I don't know how necessary it is. That takes up a lot of resources, but so it's really more of a technical reason I would not use that on this offline server, but the possibility and potential is there.
Education, notes, data tools, click on any of these and they're going to open up that service. You've also got this little chat button down in the corner. That is your AI assistant, and it's always just one click away.
So this actually could be useful. Like, this is a useful case for AI, where it's almost like, you guys know Notebook LM. That's it. Unironically, it's a Google service, but you see a similar thing with that, where when you're querying the AI, the chatbot, it is only pulling from the resources that you feed it. So like with Notebook LM, you use it for PDFs. It's actually a pretty good research tool, because you can just give it like a library of PDFs and then query the AI, like ask a question, and it'll scan all the resources and give you whatever you're looking for, and then actually give you a citation from the original text, so you can like check it yourself. So this is kind of like what that is. Like, I'm not opposed to that. That's not like a manipulative thing. That's just kind of a glorified search engine, which I'm okay with. Like, that's a good use case for AI. That's fine.
You can even name it whatever you want. I called mine Mongo.
Mongo only
What it needs. And every one of these services is containerized for easy modular deployment. Then you pick out a full...
Like, Maps is a huge one. Like, imagine losing access to online maps and navigation. Like, what a lot of people rely so heavily on, I would say, like the average driver in the US is not able to get from point A to point B in a non-routine travel, right? Like, not somewhere they're going every day or frequently, like some one-off destination. If they had to use a paper map, they would be in rough shape. Like, we're so dependent on navigation and maps like that. You need internet for all of that. Like, you know, it's like, but you can have that. Like, you can have offline maps that do essentially the same thing. I use one in my car. The navigation I use, I have the maps pre-downloaded, so I don't even need internet access. It actually runs better than using Apple or Google Maps, because if you lose connection, you can potentially go off course, or like lose, you know, it doesn't like track the same, you know, it just operates a little bit more rough. Sometimes it just stops working. But when you have it pre-downloaded, it works great. Like, you don't need internet access at all. And yeah, so like, I have a bunch of local maps downloaded on my device that I just hook up to my system in my car, and that's how that's what I use for navigation.
Full copy of Wikipedia, what you want. You can also go into the content.
So yeah, I mean, you guys get it, right? It's like, it's an offline server that's specifically built for education, resources, survival, tools, documents, and things that you might need in an offline scenario. My vision is to, like, this is open source, so you can just pull the code repository and you know, add to this or edit it or whatever, and then, you know, we can just add our own resources to it. So we could add, like, what if we had a whole section for like liturgics, right? Because there's a lot of liturgical resources, like these kind of services that they may not be in the like your average priest's book, you know, like their liturgical books. Like, not every service is in every book that every priest owns. So there's a lot of websites that have these liturgics and hymns and things like that, that they have to go to pretty often to, you know, get printouts and stuff like that. So what if we had like a whole section for liturgics? There's a section for patristics, you know, stuff that maybe not patristics, because like I'm thinking things that are in mass print already, like we probably won't need to waste hard drive space on. Like, we don't need copies of Saint Athanasius on the Incarnation, right? Like there's enough book copies of that. Like, so that's the kind of thing you have to think about is like, what kind of resources are exclusively online that we're going to really need to pull this. So I'm trying to think if I have anything here as an example. I don't think I even have everything here, but yeah, I mean, maybe this, right? Because this has been an online publication that I think the material in this is like exclusively online, and it's been there since 2008, and you can't get it printed at all. So it's like, you want to print stuff, you got to pull it from the internet. But anyway, I'm yapping here. I don't think there's anything more for me to go over with that, but hope you guys enjoyed my yap stream here. Thank you to all who supported. I know it's getting late because I can't talk anymore. I'm talking like a retard. America won't be holy until post-collapse. Multiple saints say precisely this. It makes sense because we haven't suffered. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Torrent, IPFS, VPN to private object store at BitChat. Yeah, BitChat is a good. You can go and download BitChat right now. That's the app that Jack, what's his name, the guy that created Twitter, made this Bitcoin mesh network app. I think it's based on Nostr, and that's a good way to test out what a mesh network communication is like, because it just runs on your phone, and that's I believe that's an offline app. I don't understand quite how it works, but it's pretty interesting. And VPNs, I got bad news. VPNs are going to be under attack. They already are, but I think it's going to become harder to use VPNs. IPFS I have to look into. I've used IPFS, but I know it's good for like video. Like, I think, what is it? Odyssey, the website Odyssey. This site is ran on IPFS, so like this is a great way to back up your YouTube channel. You can actually sync it, which I can't do. So like I have to upload everything individually, but if you can sync your YouTube channel, it just automatically makes backups of every one of your live streams and uploads. And this goes on IPFS, which is I think it's on Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken, or it's based on Ethereum. I don't remember. But it's all peer-to-peer nodes, so it's like, you know, it's archived and it's uncensorable and all that. It's decentralized. So that's a big thing right there. It's like, what about the video content? Because that takes up a lot of space, right? You can only get so much video content on a hard drive. So you have to be really picky with what you end up archiving in terms of video. Yeah, Jack Dorsey. Yes, thank you, Jack Dorsey. Yeah, this is what's it called? BitChat. Literally bitch at. Who am I gonna bitch at? Yeah, which is like, this is say what you want about Jack Dorsey. This is cool that he did this. Like, he literally sold Twitter, dipped out, and said, I'm going to just build a free and open source mesh networking app on the Nostr, like on Bitcoin, basically. Yeah, so this is a cool app. I would check this out. BitChat is designed for resilient communication when traditional networks are unavailable or compromised, for example, during natural disasters or internet blackouts. So, you know, that's what all these people are creating this stuff for. It's like they all kind of are expecting something like that is going to happen. So yeah, and then yeah, by the way, go check out my collab with Church of the Eternal Logos over on his channel with Kotel. And, you know, I talked, you probably, if you were tuned in this whole time, you probably heard me say everything and more that I already said here, but it's still a great conversation, especially DPH's insights are worthwhile. So go check that out. But, and yeah, here's my article. Just posted on the Reversion. Go subscribe there. I am getting back into the writing grind, and I'm planning to be publishing more written articles. So make sure you're subscribed there. It's free to subscribe, or you can become a paid subscriber if you want, if you feel so compelled, and get access to my whole archive. But I don't think we've got anyone else here on the Discord, so maybe I'll wrap things up here. I got to fix my whole stream. I have to fix some stuff here because I wasn't able to hear the donations and stuff. What else we got? Why is your YouTube colors green? Oh, you mean this here? This is, I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, my YouTube. Oh, I know what you're talking about. On here, yeah. Okay, this is because I'm using an extension that lets you customize YouTube, and like you can. I'll show you. By the way, there's like extensions for I think pretty much every major platform to kind of like take out all the addicting things that are programmed into it. So this, for example, with YouTube, there's one, this isn't it, but this is an example. It's called Unhook. You could hide your home feed. You can hide your sidebar, hide recommended, hide the live chat, hide comments, right? Hide merch, ticket offers, hide end screen cards. So like you can hide all this stuff, subscriptions, disable autoplay, all this stuff that they don't let you do on YouTube. Because that's all, like, that's kind of what gives into the YouTube addiction, like the whole home feed, right? And then also the recommended, it's like you see the recommended videos, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch that next, right? So you end up in a YouTube rabbit hole. And then there's stuff like this for Twitter as well, where you can like hide all the engagements, like hide all the likes, hide reposts. So it's called a vanity. You can hide the vanity metrics, they're called, where it's like all the stuff that gives you dopamine. But I don't think that's enough, because you can just turn it off. Like, you know, if you can just like turn it off in a button click, it's not good. It's not going to really help you much. But this is called Enhancer for YouTube. That's the plugin. So you can like change the theme. I'm not sure if I'll get, yeah, I don't think I'll get in trouble for showing this on YouTube. It's not, I don't know if it's TOS or whatever, but who cares? Theme, yeah. You can change the theme here. So if you're interested in doing that, and then you can do stuff like pop-up players and, you know, determine how you want to have the video displayed and whatnot. But I don't even use YouTube to watch videos. I use, it's called GrayJ. If you look up GrayJ, I don't know if you can get, you can't get this on Apple. So if you have an Android device, you can download this. And I think you can download it on your desktop. And it's got Louis Rossmann support. So let's go. Yeah, Android. And this is basically a local, like you're running YouTube locally, and your subscriptions are based on like, it adds them to like basically a config file. And, you know, you can sync it across devices. It works just like YouTube, but it's not as invasive. It doesn't like spy on you. It's like, I think it's using hooks or something to fetch the YouTube data itself. And so, yeah, this is a great app. I love GrayJ. It's, again, free and open source. Like I was saying earlier, guys, a lot of, like, most free and open source apps I used are way better than the paid apps that, you know, you have to pay a monthly fee for and stuff on the Apple Slop Store. There's incredible amounts of like, people just don't know about it because a lot of it is Linux based, but it's insane the amount of software that's like actually really useful and gives you more freedom and doesn't spy on you. And this is one of those. So, yeah, it like gives you a little more freedom on YouTube. Of course you're limited. Like if you wanted to go on a live chat, I think you kind of have to go on the website. So, you know, if you're live chatting, you'd have to use the YouTube app or website, but, and I'll give you guys a pro tip that probably most other YouTubers won't tell you. Because I see people complain about my ads all the time, and I run the lightest amount of ads possible, just so you guys know. And most of my videos are demonetized. But I'm going to tell you this: you shouldn't even be seeing anyone's ads. Forget my channel. You shouldn't see any ads on YouTube, because what you should be using is Brave browser that has built-in ad block. I have never seen a single YouTube ad since I used Brave. In fact, if I see a YouTube ad, I know there's like something, I must not be using Brave. Like I'm using something else where I must be in the wrong browser, because I just simply never see them. It's as if they don't exist. So go use Brave. Like, yeah, the reason why they won't tell you to use that is because you don't make money if all of your audience is watching your content on a browser that blocks ads, but I don't care. So yeah, but if you want to support this creator, then watch it with ads, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, so this is, let me see, am I showing it here? So this is, if it'll switch screens here. This is Grey J. And it combines with Rumble too, by the way. I think you can add Rumble, Odyssey, podcasts. You can put podcasts on there. And so it's like a totally different, like when you go on your homepage for Grey J, it's totally different than your YouTube homepage because it's not algorithmic. And when you go to subscriptions, it just goes by, see how it's updating all the feeds? So it just goes by like the latest uploads from the channels you're following, which is more like how it should be. It's like, okay, just give me the latest stuff. And that's it. It just is way less addicting. So that's, you know, it's all about like, basically, you know, kind of like reverse engineering all the addictive qualities that they've programmed into these platforms we use every day, to spend less time on them, because a lot of the stuff we do on these platforms is like, is just imposed upon us. Like we don't consent to it. We just get clickbaited and stuff, and you know, again, just treated like bots, and we end up in turn behaving like bots. And that's why you end up, you know, you guys ever end up like just scrolling so much that you hit a piece of content and you're like, I'm done. I don't know why, like how I got to this point, why I'm seeing this piece of content right now, but I feel like I need to get off, and like you just close out the app or whatever. That is your brain telling you that it's like depleted from dopamine. Like you've essentially like hit a climax, and now you're almost like coming to your senses. It's like not to be crude, but it's like a post-nut clarity for dopamine. And so that's what that effect is on your brain. And like that's a real fact. And so like that's like by the time you get to that, it's like you've wasted so much time, and like that's not something you intended to do usually. Like you don't sit down and intend to just scroll for like 2 hours, but that time passes very quickly because you just get into this like, you know, cycle of dopamine or whatever. Yeah. Post scroll clarity. Yeah, that's a good term for it. Yeah. It's post scroll clarity. Unfortunately, that lasts a lot longer than the more crude version that I was talking about. in most cases. But yeah, because that's like the scrolling rabbit holes can last hours. But think, you know, if you think of it as basically dopamine gooning, you can start to trick your brain out of that kind of cycle. You know, we need to normalize calling scrolling dopamine gooning. Anyway, guys, I think I've said enough here, but we'll end it on that. We'll end it on that. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all the generous support and the fact that you guys sat here and listened to me yap with not many exciting visuals, although I have the you know, the waves going and stuff with my voice. That's about it. But, you know, I always appreciate you guys sitting in on this and you know, having these conversations with me and stuff. I enjoy the chat. So we'll see you again. I think maybe I'm aiming for Friday. I'm aiming for Friday to do Occult Renaissance Church of Rome. I'm not going to be prepared. Like, I'm not going to have enough stuff prepared for it anyway. So I might as well just yap about it for a good 2 hours or so. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Oh, I didn't even see Jim Bob in the chat. What's up, man? We got to get Jim Bob on here. We're going to have a yap sesh with Jim Bob. The ads are better than most things on YouTube. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Although a lot of the ads now are just AI slop too. I mean, you ever notice now that the ads, like they make the ads seem like organic content? That's like the new trend with ads now. It's like just trick people into thinking it's part of their normal feed. Cause otherwise they're like, oh, it's an ad, and they scroll right past it. I think that's especially common on Instagram and Twitter. That's been going on for a while, but yeah. All right, guys, I'm actually going to really sign off, but God bless you all. I appreciate, love you all. Take care, and we'll see you again maybe Friday.
Is it dead?
I don't know if it's full dead, you know. So notes, can you talk Alex Jones? Because you say he's a CIA agent, I want to know, you know. I just want to know.
Well, I'm not saying he specifically is a CIA agent. Instead, his dad was an intel agent, and he